Hey, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we will call to order the July 27th, 2026 City of Detroit Board of Zoning Appeals. Director, can we get a roll call, please?
Good morning, board members. Board Member Sherman, Board Member Watson, Board Member Campbell, Board Member Carr, Board Member Johnson, Board Member Bowman.
Present.
Board Member Parker.
Present.
Board Member Osborne.
Present.
Chairperson Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you do not have a quorum.
Okay, we will recess to the call of the chair when we get one. Okay, are you ready, Director?
Yes.
Okay, we will call back to order our meeting. And if we could get another roll call, please.
Board Member Sherman, Board Member Watson, Board Member Campbell, Board Member Carr,
Present.
Board Member Johnson, Board Member Bowman.
Present.
Board Member Parker,
Present.
Board Member Osborne.
Present.
Chairperson Roberts.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
All right, great. Any procedural matters, Director?
The July 20th BZA hearing is posted on YouTube.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes dated July 13th, 2026?
So moved.
Pardon me?
I'd like to.
Sorry, it's July 20th. It's incorrect in there. So did I get a motion? I think so.
So moved.
Through the chair, I'd like to make amendment to the motion, to the minutes from July 20th. There were a couple of spaces where I believe the minutes referred to myself and Member Watson as Mrs.
Oops.
Thank you.
All right, so motion and second with an amendment to approve the minutes July 20th, 2026. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any communications, Director Brown?
No communications,
Any miscellaneous business?
no miscellaneous business.
Okay. I don't even know what time it is. Well, we'll recess for 4 minutes when we hear our first case.
Yes, BZA case 2026 00043. BZA petitioner is Timothy Flintoff. Location is 5132 through 72 West Chicago between Narden and Grand River in an two-family residential district. Timothy Flintoff requests dimensional variances to construct a 3-story, 34,056 square foot building containing 27 multi-family dwelling units approved in site plan review only SPR 2026-00034 within an R2 zone 2-family residential district. We will now hear from Inspector Purefoy.
Thank you, Director. Good morning, board members. We're hearing this case today because the board shall be authorized to hear dimensional variance requests for matters that are beyond the scope of the building department's 10% administrative adjustments for a variance of the minimum setbacks. The variances needed for this case are deficient front yard setback, 20 feet are required, 4 feet are proposed, 16 feet deficient, and excessive building height, 35 feet are required, 44 feet are proposed, 9 feet excessive height. Here in this case, under the legal description attached, our attorney will assess ownership. BC site plan review letter dated June 17th, 2026 states, BC completed the review of the site plans on June 8th, 2026. The current legal land use of the above properties is vacant land, approximately 28,800 total square feet. The above properties are zoned R5, medium density residential zoning district. The proposed use of multi-family dwellings is permitted by right in this district, thus a special land use hearing is not required. However, as greater than 12 dwelling units are proposed, 27 units are proposed, site plan review is required prior to a permit submission. Under section 501434 of the ordinance, BC can provide a 25% public transit reduction, which is 20 spaces for the proposed 27 multi-family dwelling units, as the project is within a half mile from a high-frequency transit corridor, which is Grand River. 18 off-street parking spaces are proposed, thus a 2-space parking deficiency. However, under section 54-122, as the parking deficiency is within 10%, BC can apply that administrative waiver and there's no parking deficiency. Under section 5013-6, the following waivers are needed from the BZA. The building front minimum setback again is 20 feet. They propose 4 and they are deficient 16. Again, they would like a building height of 44 feet. 35 is the limit, so they would be excessive 9 feet. Petition is again before the board for those 2-dimensional variances for the 3-story, 34,056 square foot building containing 27 multifamily dwelling units, which was approved under site plan review. Again, this is all vacant land at the time. It's located on Chicago, just to the north of Grand River. This is the vacant land slated for the 3-story building located on West Chicago. This is the far north end of the site, going towards the north end of the site. Again, this is the north end of the vacant lot. Shot looking back towards Grand River. The vacant land subject to the building is on the right side of the screen. Again, the vacant land slated for the 3-story building. You looking down West Chicago, looking to the north. Subject sites to the left on the screen. Closest residential property to the north. View again looking towards Narton off of West Chicago. Block opposite Narton Park. And a view again looking down West Chicago, looking to the north. And again, the park, which is directly across the street. And this is the corner of Narton and West Chicago. This is again the corner, vacant land on the corner. And block opposite. Again, that's the closest residential property, but then to the left of that is the vacant land slated for the 3-story building. This is the site for the 3-story building. This should complete the visuals, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Flintoff, come down, please. Yes, and I see people following you, so is everybody gonna speak today?
Yes.
Okay, so then we'll need, each of you to give your name and address, and then Inspector Purifer will swear you in.
Tim Flintoff with 4545 Architecture. My address is 4545 Commonwealth Street, Detroit, Michigan.
Candace Rucker with Rucker Property Management Group. My address is 4260 Leslie Street.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Matthews. My address is 4344 Kensington.
Ms. Matthews, how are you related to the case?
I am Vice President of Development at Janasco Development Company. We are partners with Rucker Property Management Group, Candace Rucker.
So you're the developer. Ms. Parker is gonna be the property manager.
Rucker.
Rucker, sorry.
You come to the.
Yeah, come closer.
Yes,
I
my
remember
name,
seeing, I
sorry.
remember seeing that now.
Candace, Candus, Rucker, Rucker. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Thanks for that clarification. Mr. Flintoff is the architect, correct?
And we have Josh Maddox on the call.
Yep. Josh Maddox, Maddox, address 265 Horton Street.
Would you all raise your right hands for me? Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Flintoff, what brings you to the BZA today?
Thank you, and good morning, and we appreciate the opportunity to.
Forget about standing, I'm sorry.
Oh, yep.
You know, Miss Savage is sits over there so quiet.
Good morning. Erica Savage, and please forgive me, might sound a little under. Erica Savage on behalf of the Law Department. Mr. Flintoff, you know this bit, but it is for our record.
Yep.
These questions are designed to assess your standing pursuant to section 50-3-3 of the City of Detroit zoning ordinance. Any party who petitions the Board of Zoning Appeals must possess sufficient standing, which means you are either have a legal interest in the property or you're authorized by the property owner to appear here on their behalf. Based on the search of the public records for 5122 West Chicago, we obtained a corrective quitclaim deed recorded on April 1st, 2025 at Library 59462, page 1412. And the deed reflects the owner of the property as Rucker Property Management. I do have, and everyone has placed everything on the record, and this is one of my most favorite scenarios where I feel everything has come together. So I did look up Rucker Management, and I see that Ms. Rucker here is the resident agent, and she just indicated her standing on the record, and I have a letter here from, I can't see the first name, but it's Irving, who is authorizing Ms. Matthews to also speak on behalf of the property. And of course, Mr. Flintoff, who's the architect and filed the application. So based off of all of the documentation and statements placed on the record, I'm satisfied with standing to proceed. Is anybody else throughout this process, aside from Mr. Maddox, who's on online, who's your partner? Is anybody else going to be authorized to speak for the property?
No, it'll just be the four of us.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chair, I am satisfied. You can go back to forgetting me now.
Thank you, Attorney. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, now, Mr. Flintoff.
Great. Thank you and good morning. We're excited to be here again for another multifamily project with Janasco Development. As you can see up on the rendering here, this is a new 27 unit building featuring mostly 2-bedroom units and some 1-bedroom units. As part of that missing middle approach housing, we think this is a very valuable addition to another neighborhood. Josh is going to kind of walk through the presentation a little bit, just to kind of explain the project and really where that 4-foot variance, just to kind of point out as we go through, occurs is at the 1-bedroom unit on the far right side of that image. The rest of the building is pushed back a little bit further. So while it says 4-foot dimensional variance, a majority of the building has more setback than that. So we think it's an appropriate expression on the street facade where it's not a straight wall at 0 lot line. So just I wanted to point that out as it kind of goes through the presentation.
Great. All right. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity again to come and speak about another project. We can hop forward to the next slide. So as Tim mentioned, this is a 27-unit apartment building in Narden Park. You can see here that the site is situated directly across from Narden Park, close to Grand River. If you move on to the next slide, this is the site plan. So I did want to point out and kind of reiterate what Tim just said. So we're asking for a front setback dimensional variance. The technical front setback is the 4 feet from the property line. You can see on the left side of the site plan, as Tim mentioned, that is to that kind of that frontmost portion of the building that kind of sticks out beyond the rest of the floor plan. I also want to point out that the lot line itself is about 7 feet back from the sidewalk. So when you add up the 7 feet from the sidewalk to the property line, and then 4 feet to the face of that forwardmost piece of the building, and then about 8 feet back to the bulk of the building. The bulk of the building is actually closer to that 20 feet setback. So that's kind of why we situated the building we did. You can see that it's a very sort of long and narrow site. So in order to accommodate as much parking as we can and get the dumpsters on site and kind of make everything how we need it to be to get from your car up into the building and make that a nice experience, and not have the ground floor units be right on top of that parking area in the back. We thought that situating it a little bit closer to the sidewalk made sense. And again, just to reiterate, the bulk of the building is closer to that 20-foot typical setback, and we just have this one part of the building that kind of sticks forward, which would be 4 feet from the lot line. So moving forward, you can see a typical floor plan of the building. We've presented a couple of these already, so it's the same approach. It's modular construction. So the units themselves, the kind of interior of the units are manufactured off-site to much higher construction tolerances than if it were stick-built. So the energy efficiency is a lot higher for these units. Every single unit is designed to be to meet the requirements of accessibility. The vast majority of the units will be Type B units, which means they could be converted to fully accessible units. So that meaning, and I'll say this every time I get up in front of everybody, that accessibility is not strictly wheelchair accessibility. It's mobility, it's visual and hearing impairment. There's a lot of things that are under the umbrella of accessibility, and these units are designed to accommodate that with providing extra space near doorways and turning radiuses, so that if you do have trouble kind of moving around, you can sort of navigate these units safely. So accessibility is a big deal, and it's a lot broader than I think a lot of people discuss it. So I just want to point out that these units are designed to kind of accommodate a wide range of possible residents. So I just want to point that out. Moving forward, the rendering of the building, it's primarily it's brick at the base. There's a mix of metal and composite panels up top. It's a very low horizontal building. So we're trying to sort of break that up and create something that kind of says that, this is sort of a new project in the neighborhood, kind of breathing in a little bit of new life. And as Tim mentioned at the very beginning, we think that, these specific units, they are bringing something that's needed to these communities. Like I said, with the way the units are designed, the way that they're fully accessible, a lot of our older apartment buildings don't really have that. You have a lot of multi-story buildings that don't have elevators. You have units that are generally a lot smaller than they really need to be today. So we think that bringing these newer projects in that can kind of fit that need is a really vital resource for our communities. And that generally concludes the presentation, so we can move on to any discussion.
There's just one more picture of the rear here, where you can kind of see the greenscape and the entry, and the part of the reason was we're accessing the parking from the alley, which we're improving. But with MISTA requirements, we need certain setbacks from the dumpster and the green space from the parking. So that was part of the reason why it pushed us forward a bit with the project, was to make sure we had those proper spacings by their requirements.
That's what pushed that 1-bedroom end cap forward, was the need for that additional spacing in the back.
Yep, it did. And we feel it was important to have a mix of 1-bedrooms as well as while the need is more for 2 bedrooms, the ability to have a 1-bedroom at a little lower price point for someone in the neighborhood who maybe doesn't need two bedrooms. It's valuable to have that mix in the units. So we could have gone all two bedrooms, but we feel it's more important for the neighborhood to have some mix in the unit types.
Yeah, and actually one other detail I want to point out, if we jump back to the site plan quickly. So I want to point out that this drive aisle that is on the right side of the site plan here, that is something that's on our property. That's a new curb cut and a new drive lane. Because we're accessing the parking off of the alley, we thought it was important to, take up actual parcel space instead of making the building bigger, to provide that direct access back there to help alleviate traffic, going across the whole alley. I believe the alley cuts down all the way to Grand River and then all the way up towards Narden. And this is kind of in the middle of the block. So instead of people kind of going all the way up and down the entire alley, we're providing this access so that people can come directly into the parking behind the building.
Okay, any questions from the board? Go ahead.
So who's likely to live in this dwelling? Will it be senior citizens, property, or?
Yeah, so the idea is, I'm a part of the Narden Park Community Rock Block Club in the area, so we do have a heavy population of senior citizens, but the goal is to provide affordable, safe, quality housing to seniors in low to moderate income households. So that is not just going to be specific to seniors, but those that have low to moderate income that have small families as well, hence the 2 bedrooms also.
Okay. And also, with the parking being close to the alley, and then I know Grand River is, because I grew up in the neighborhood not far from there, but and with Grand River being close by is pretty heavy traffic area. And so you might want to consider the lighting. I mean, what type of lighting would you be providing, for that parking area?
Yeah, we'll have
For safety reasons,
Yep.
of course.
yeah, we will. We'll have lighting that meets the requirements for foot candles for that area. We'll work with our electrical engineer on that, as well as I believe we're gonna have a fence in the front to create some privacy for the units in that green space up front. So because the ground floor units have a little have a sliding door and a stoop that they can kind of go out on, but it'll be a private space for them.
Now, I would also like to mention, this is a multi-phase project. So the building that's adjacent, that's the building that I own, that's a 4-unit dwelling. So we have dusted down lighting in the exterior, and we also have security features on the exterior as well. But just to kind of comment more on the mix, we have a veteran, that's a senior that lives there. We have very young professionals that work for Henry Ford Hospital that also reside in the residence, as well as small single family parents, so single parent households with their aging mother that also have benefited from phase 1. So I think it's appropriate, especially since we were able to lease that property out in under 18 days. That is definitely a need, and it's also going to benefit the community by creating more density in that area, which a lot of the community has spoken that a lot of their resources have been taken away and stripped from them based on the fact that there's not density in the area. There's no one to live there. So businesses don't feel like it's advantageous to put their business there and serve that community. So to me, this is a transformative project that echoes the entire community that they have spoken that this is something that they want to see. I just want to mention that.
Thank you.
Can you speak a little bit more about any public engagement that you've done?
Yep, so I am a board member. I actually grew up in Arden Park, so we still have a vested interest on a property actually right behind this on Dundee. So it's my grandmother's house and it's still in our family today. And so I serve in the community as a board member of Narden Park Improvement Rock. And so we put on ice cream socials. I'm really trying to engage the community. Since I've lived there as a child, I grew up in the area, but it's been such significant disinvestment. Everyone has left. So my goal is to create just an excitement and a zeal for the area where people want to live there again. But if there's no houses, we're definitely not going to have a chance. So this is a way to create density in the area quickly with the 27 units and kind of build upon there. Even on Dundee, there's literally 5 houses. I grew up on that block. It used to be multi, 4 units, 2 families. It used to be children everywhere. It's just nothing there. And so I think that this project is essential, especially when the mission for the city of Detroit is to go into our communities. I think that this is a transformative project. It's needed. And I feel like the community is excited. And this is going to be a turning point for that area in general, where it's going to spark even more investment for other people to want to be a part of something that's greater.
The, have you heard anything, negative about, in particular, the height?
No, I actually had a letter of support from the community. So I've talked with them several times during our community meetings. I have a letter of support, and then I own the building adjacent. There's no other properties from behind us.
Gotcha.
So I'm in agreement.
I didn't see that support letter, but, in our packet. Was that provided to Director Riveron? Was the support letter provided to, Director Riveron?
Yeah, it was, yeah, I went over the project and it was provided. So,
I didn't see it, but that's okay.
okay. I can definitely send that and make sure you all have it, a copy.
That's okay. Any other questions? Member Osborne? You have a question?
Yeah, I did. I believe I heard on the site plan, Mr. Maddox spoke about the upper right or no, upper left corner facing Chicago is the reason why, where the building juts out toward West Chicago is the reason why they need the setback variance. But I don't recall, until you mentioned excessive height, I don't recall why the excessive height is being requested.
Because the max height is 35 feet and we're at 44.
So why do we have to go to 44?
Because we're trying to go to 3 stories, and that's the building height. And at 35 feet, that's really tight in any commercial building. When you want to have 9-foot ceilings, you're already at 27 before you have structure and parapets and stuff. So and the modular construction limits us in our heights, and then we also are on we're on an elevated slab because of the construction typology that pushes us up that high to make sure all the systems can connect. So it's a combination of multiple things in process of the construction process that push that height.
All right. Is there any, I remember you came before us, I believe it was last week, with a MISTA funded project. Is this similar to that?
Yes.
Yep, so this project is funded with 4% low-income housing tax credits, utilizing MISTA's first mortgage, a MISTA direct first mortgage, as well as MISTA Round 19 gap. The project also has a conditional award letter from the City of Detroit's Affordable Housing Fund, utilizing home dollars.
So with the MISTA funding, is there a possibility of putting people to work on this project that are from the surrounding community?
We will fully be complying with Section 3. The project will have all the on-site work will be prevailing wage and complying fully with Davis-Bacon and making any and all attempts to hire City of Detroit workforce.
About the off-site work?
The off-site work happening at our factory is not required to comply with Davis-Bacon.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Member Parker? Or Carr, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Carr. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell me, will each of the units have its own entrance?
Yeah, so every unit it's a central hallway, so it's a barbell building with stairs on the ends, and then a center hallway. So you'll have a main entrance into the building with the elevators to take you up from floor to floor, and then you'll have an individual entry door off of the hallway interior And then the ground floor units then have a sliding door that lets them have some outdoor space, you know, a 4x8 patio, basically.
So the residents will be able to enter the building from the parking lot.
You would enter from the parking lot, yes. The main entrance would be off the parking lot.
Okay.
There isn't a dedicated entrance on the street side, because it was more important to get the extra unit there than to just build space for them to pass through.
Mhm.
We felt that the density of adding one more unit was more appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
Member Bowman?
Yeah, hi. I'm not sure if this is the correct point in the meeting to bring this up, but you can tell me. I notice here that it says City Council District 4. I'm certain that that's incorrect. I believe it's probably City Council District 5.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Okay, seeing none, if you want to go ahead and step back, we're going to hear from our departments now. Mr. Ramos?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning to this honorable body. I'm Zoning Inspector Kevin Ramos, representing for BC. For this case, the applicant applied for site plan review, as this was a by right use in this R5 zoning district. This is new construction on a vacant lot. This orientation of the building is acceptable for a multifamily development. They're providing a driveway at one side lot and parking accessible off the alley at the rear of the property. And so with this orientation of building, you know, the way setbacks are measured is from that front property line to the exterior wall. And on the side walls, I believe there may be some reductions applicable for offsets the way that building is shaped. However, yes, with the placement of the building closer to the front street off of Chicago, they do require a variance from this board for that deficient front yard of 20 feet that is required. With new construction, developments must meet the strict requirement of the Detroit zoning ordinance, and that is reviewed at time of site plan review. We also reviewed the area of the square footage of the parcel for this development, as this application is combining several lots, and the height of the building is excessive for this square footage. The applicant also is required to provide a certain amount of square footage for outdoor recreational space for these residents, and I believe that is stated in the site plan review letter. What is not shown in the site plan is what amount of square footage is provided. There's like a rear landscape area. I believe I saw one bench provided there. And so if the applicant is able to meet all requirements at time of site plan review, they still require variances from this board and able to move forward to construction and be issued construction documents at building permits.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions for Inspector Ramos? All right, seeing none.
I have one question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Carr.
Member Carr, good morning, Mr. Ramos. Is there any plan to review the 20-foot setback requirement of the ordinance to change the ordinance so that, you know, under conditions like the one that we're seeing here, others we've reviewed before will fall within the ordinance that seems to be required for today's construction?
Yes, through the chair, I believe there is a review of the current zoning ordinance for a complete new draft ordinance in progress. However, in this case, you know, if there is an adjacent building that has less of a front yard setback than the new construction required, their new construction is allowed to have that same neighboring yards setback dimension. And so, you know, it may be a good idea to expand these sort of exceptions to those strict requirements. However, that's called a contextual setback, and so that may be open for discussion for changing policy.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the inspector? All right, thank you, Inspector Ramos. And I don't believe we have anything from planning and development. Right? We do. Okay. All right, Mr. Flintoff, if you could come back up to the podium, we're going to go through our approval criteria now. All right, Member Carr, if you could please do number 1 and 2.
Is the requested variance or administrative adjustment consistent with the master plan and the spirit, purpose, and intent of the chapter?
Yes, we believe it is.
Okay, the next question is, what are the practical difficulties that prevent you from carrying out the strict letter of the chapter?
As we mentioned through the presentation, the narrowness of the site and the construction methods, as well as trying to meet the parking requirements and other requirements of the site, have required us to push the building forward further and also have a taller building than the ordinance require or allows.
Thank you.
Member Osborne, 3 and 4, please.
Mr. Flintoff, if we grant the variance, what will it do for your project and the site where it's being built?
I think as Ms. Rucker has mentioned, we think it's a very dynamic project for the neighborhood. It will be very beneficial for the community to bring 27 new families to the neighborhood within walking distance of Grand River, which will hopefully encourage more development there, and also hopefully encourage more development in the neighborhood in general. So we think it's a very good first step in what we hope will be a longer plan for the neighborhood and more investment in the neighborhood.
All right. Can you explain how this development will not cause any adverse impacts on the other on the surrounding community?
So we've already, through significant community engagement, approached the neighborhood. Ms. Rucker is a strong member of the neighborhood and very well involved, and will be present through the process as well as through the management of the longevity of the building. And we think that it's bringing 27 new families to the neighborhood is just going to strengthen the community.
Thank you.
One second. Okay. All right, 6 and 7, Member Parker.
Not 5.
Oh, 1, 2, oh, 5 and 6.
Okay. Good morning. Please explain how any adverse impact resulting from the variances or administrative adjustment will be mitigated to the maximum extent practical.
Yeah, so as we've mentioned before, the development team is invested in the neighborhood, so they have a strong presence to mitigate any sort of adverse issues for the longevity of the project. It's not a quick in and out sort of situation here. That they're invested in long-term goals of the community. So,
Okay, great. Also, how and why is the requested variance or administrative adjustment required to compensate for some unusual aspects of the site or the proposed development that is not shared by landowners in general?
So to meet kind of that interest of missing middle housing, which is pretty common in the neighborhood, in other neighborhoods, infill multifamily. But the city lots were not necessarily designed for that in general. Depths don't necessarily meet standards for today's multifamily homes. And so our building placement is based on the building structure and also the goals of MISHDA to meet the requirements for parking, open space, separation from refuge containers, and just the general to create a space that's a good well-being space for the community. So it's a challenge that this site has created for us that we think the dimensional variances are necessary to make the best project.
Thank you.
Member Bowman, next two.
Yes,
please.
when you purchased the property, what were your plans?
Our client purchased the property with the intent to develop a multifamily project. As she's demonstrated, she's invested in the community with her first phase. And this is part of a multi-step process of her investing in the community.
Okay, and will you be conducting any business other than what you have spoken of on record today?
No, it'll be it'll be a residential multifamily project only for the community to have new residents.
Okay. So how will what you've requested today in terms of the variances, how will that benefit the rest of the community?
Well, as we've said, we see this as a catalyst for growth in the neighborhood. It's with the modular construction, it allows us to expedite the installation and the construction of the building significantly from standard stick built. So we're able to come to market with these a lot quicker and meet the needs of the neighborhood in a much more expedited process.
And is this city-owned property?
I don't believe it is, right?
Land bank.
Oh, it is Detroit Land Bank. Yep.
And are you in compliance with the letter of agreement with the land bank?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, very good. Mr. Flintoff, if you want to step back, we're going to move to public comment now. You can please pay attention to the public comment, because if there's anything that's negative or controversial about your project, you'll have an opportunity to come back up and address those issues. Okay. Any communications, Director?
No communications.
Okay, we will open up not general public. We'll open up public comment specific to 5132-72 West Chicago. Anybody in the auditorium that would like to make a public comment specific to 5132 through 5172 West Chicago, please come to the podium. Not seeing anybody, we'll switch to our virtual participants. If there's anybody out there online that would like to make a public comment specific to 5132 through 5172 West Chicago, please raise your hand. Public comment specific to 5132 through 5172 West Chicago, please raise your hand. Anybody, Director?
No hands.
All right, no hands, so we'll close out public comment and move into a board-only discussion, and a motion is always in order. Member Osborne.
Well, I understand that this board is not exclusive to community engagement. We're really looking at the variances and how it fits in with the master plan and the surrounding area. It's good to hear that a neighborhood resident representative came and spoke positively. It's good to hear that she has been working not only along with the developer, but also owns an adjacent property. So I'd be in favor of this project.
Any other comments? Member Parker.
I agree. I'm glad to see Ms. Rucker reinvesting into the neighborhood because it used to be a really thriving neighborhood, and I agree. And so, thank you for your reinvestment and your interest.
Yeah. And I agree too. It's nice having a stakeholder in the community who's going to be managing this 27 unit project. And I also agree with the testimony that this has the ability or potential to be a transformational type of a project. And not hearing anything negative from the community, in particular with the excessive height, which is a little bit surprising to me, but that means that in my opinion, that means that the applicant has done their due diligence in gaining community support. So I'd be in favor of these variances also. Yes. Oh, Member Bowman.
Yeah, I also concur with my colleagues that this project looks positive and is well thought out. It should provide comfortable housing for people, including the accessibility for a broad variety of different residents. And it looks like it would help raise the overall value of other residences in the neighborhood by providing new residents where there's currently just empty land. And I have a motion ready if no one else is
Yep,
needing to speak.
one matter of business that we need to take care of. Attorney Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just really briefly, Erica Savage again on behalf of the land bank, the law department. I forgot to place on the record, the ownership of the properties that are actually on the docket. The docket, the address is shifted after we did the title search, but I did have the, agreement, the option agreement between the land bank and, Rucker Property Management. But I just wanted to note for the record that for the properties 5132, 5140, 5150, 5156, 5164, and 5172 West Chicago, that the applicant provided an option to purchase agreement with the Detroit Land Bank that was executed. I just wanted to make sure, Mr. Flintoff, because I do see it was executed in 2025. Is the agreement still active? Is it still, has it been extended or? Oh, it's active for, okay, all right. I was just saying, oh, that's just the deal to sign. It expired July 2025. Okay, so I just, and forgive me that I did not place that on the record, during the time of the standing, but I'm based off of the, Ms. Rucker signed the agreement and it's been executed. I'm satisfied still with the standing of all the properties.
Thank you, Attorney Savage. Member Bowman, you have a motion.
Okay. Yes, I'd like to I move to approve dimensional variances in case number BZA 2026-00043 at 5132 through 5172 West Chicago and City Council District 5 for petitioner Timothy Plinta to construct a 3-story 34,056 square foot building containing 27 multifamily dwelling units. It was already approved in a site plan review only, SPR 2026-00034 within R2 zone, 2-family residential district. This board is authorized to hear dimensional variances, requests for matters beyond the scope of BC's 10% administrative adjustments. We approve this variance to allow a deficient front yard setback, 20 feet required, 4 feet proposed, 16 feet deficient, and excessive building height, 35 feet required, 44 feet, 9 feet excessive. Sections 50-4-1316 and 50-121 approval criteria met for criteria 1 and 2. We mentioned that the narrowness of the site requires less setback and a greater height. That it in 3 that it benefits the surrounding community. In item 4, community engagement and managers are part of the neighborhood. 5, that there is longevity to the contract. 6, the city lot sizes were not originally designed for modern multifamily homes. So these variances are needed. And 7, plans were for a residential multifamily home from the beginning. And 8, this is the only plan for the site. And that this meets neighborhood needs, being the last item, and that this is on private property.
Okay. So we got a motion. Can we get a second?
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
It's not private properties, Mr. Bowman.
Oh.
BZA case 2026-00043. Timothy Flintoff requesting dimensional variances to construct a 3-story multifamily dwelling unit has been approved. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Do
Good
I
luck,
need to
lady.
amend that now or something?
It's not necessary. We
Okay.
corrected it on the record.
Okay.
Okay, is our next case in, Director?
BZA case 2026-00024. City Council District Number 6, BZA petitioner is Ali Muhussein. The location is 8035 Michigan Avenue between Lumley and Teams in a B4 General Business District. Ali Muhsin requests dimensional variances to expand an existing 2,499 square foot motor vehicle washing facility structure by 200 square feet to add 2 retail units, 500 square feet each, and remove 2 existing bays. Approved with conditions in BC case number SLU 2026-0002. Decision date May 19th, 2026. Effective date June 2nd, 2026. Within a B4 zone general business district. We will now hear from Inspector Purefoy.
Thank you, Director. We are hearing this case today because the board shall be authorized to hear dimensional variance requests for matters that are beyond the scope of the building department's 10% administrative adjustments for a variance of the minimum setbacks. Variance needed for this case is deficient parking. 4 spaces are required, no spaces are provided, leaving a 4-space deficiency. Hearing this case under section 54-131-1, permitted dimensional variances, and 54-121, approval criteria. Hearing this case under the legal description attached, our attorney will assess ownership. Building Department's approval effective June 2nd, 2026 states the request is to expand an existing 2,499 square foot motor vehicle washing facility structure by 200 square feet to add 2 retail units, 500 square feet each, and remove 2 existing bays. Current legal use of the subject property is a car wash under building permit 44089 issued in October of 1987. Based on the site plans and other information presented at BC, compliance with the following aspects were addressed. BC held a hearing on April 22nd, 2026. In addition to City of Detroit personnel, the participants of the hearing included the petitioner, Mr. Ali Muhassan. No one spoke in support or opposition to the requested use. Preliminary site plans were approved on March 26, 2026. A letter from Planning and Development dated May 19th, 2026, with a recommendation to approve the requested use. Upon careful consideration of the application and all materials, letters, public comments, and other information presented, BC has made all of the findings under section 53-281. Therefore, the establishment of the requested use is approved with conditions provided the required variances are given by the Board of Zoning Appeals. And again, that variance is deficient parking of 4 spaces. Again, the subject property is a car wash, a self-serve car wash currently. It's the front view of the subject property in question. Again, it's located on Michigan Avenue. Front view of the subject property in question, and again, 2 bays will be removed to comply with 2 retail units. View looking down the frontage of the property, looking to the west down Michigan.
Thank you.
Immediately to the east on Michigan Avenue. This is the rear of the subject property and the east wall area. This is the rear of the subject property looking to the south. The rear of the subject property looking to the west behind the actual bays. You're looking back up towards Michigan Avenue. Again, looking to the east from the rear. This is block opposite from the car wash to the west. You're looking down a residential street to the south. Again, this is a rear view of the subject property. Block opposite, retail store. Also block opposite. And along view looking down Michigan to the west. And a view looking down the frontage of the property looking to the east. And that concludes the visuals. Again, there's a four space parking deficiency where they want to take 2 bays away and add retail. And that completes the visuals, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Inspector Purefoy. Okay.
Commissioners
Is
on
the
the call.
Commissioner online?
Hello?
Hi. Are you
Ali
Mr.
Mohsen?
Hussein?
Yes,
Okay, great. Are you going to be the only person speaking about your project today?
yes.
Okay. If you could please state your name and address, and Inspector Purefoy will swear you in.
Ali Mohsen, 4650 Jonathan, Dearborn, Michigan, 48126.
Great. The first thing that we need to do is establish that you have standing to represent this property, and Attorney Savage is going to take care of that.
Would you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is true?
Yes,
Thank you.
Attorney Savage?
Good morning again, Erica Savage on behalf of the Law Department. Mr. Mohsen, these questions are designed to assess your standing. Pursuant to section 50-3-3 of the City of Detroit zoning ordinance, any party who petitions the Board of Zoning Appeals must possess sufficient standing, which means you have a legal interest in the property or you're authorized by the property owner to appear on their behalf. Based on the Law Department search of the public records for 8035 Michigan Avenue, we obtained a warranty deed recorded on January 16th, 2020 at Liber 55604, page 748. And it reflects the owner of the property as Ali Mohsen. So that is you. Is there anyone else who has an interest or that you're authorizing to speak on behalf of the property?
no.
Okay. Mr. Chair, based off of the statements placed on the record in the title search, I'm satisfied with standing to proceed.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Savage. Mr. Hussein, what brings you before the Board of Zoning Appeals today?
Requesting a variance for parking deficiency to continue with my project.
Okay, and what does that project entail?
To add 2 retail spaces to my existing self-car wash and reducing the size of the self-car wash.
Okay, so you're not adding on to the building, then you're just taking 2 of your bays and turning them into retail?
Yes, yes.
So the building footprint's going to stay the same. Is there any reason, I mean, just looking at, obviously I went and drove around the site and looking at the visuals that Inspector Purefoy shared. Is there any reason why you can't do some type of parking behind?
We are using 2 spaces behind, but just because of the vehicle stacking for the self-car wash, we didn't want it to affect the flow of traffic for the existing customers.
Okay, gotcha. Understood. Okay. Any questions from the board? Ms. Parker? Or, I'm sorry. Ms. Carr?
Thank you, Member Carr. Good morning. Since it is required that you have 4 parking spaces and you're looking to create 2 retail units, where do you expect the people that come to the retail space to park?
So we do provide 4 parking spaces. The variance is requesting the 2 feet that we're missing from the width of the parking spaces and the drive aisle. So it's just a little bit tighter by 2 feet, but we are adding 4 total parking spaces.
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
So we are adding 4 parking spaces on the site, but they are deficient by 2 feet. So instead of the 20 feet that's required for the drive aisle, it's 18 feet. And then also the width is going to be 2 feet smaller. That's the variance that we're requesting.
Okay, thank you.
Is there gonna be any improvement made to the concrete? Any improvements made, striping, any of those types of things?
Yes, we're going to be, whatever the city requires, we're going to be, make sure it's up to code.
All right, any other questions for the petitioner from the board? Member Osborne?
Good morning,
Morning.
Mr. Muhason. Do you have a idea of the vendors that you plan on having in the retail space?
Not yet, but we're looking at basically what's allowed there. Something simple like a barber shop or something that doesn't need any special requests from the city. That's just permissible already.
So
we won't know until we rent it out or put it for rent.
So with that being said, what type of, like, how do you see the employees in the retail space having to park full time and the patrons of the retail space being able to park?
As far as the employees go, we don't have additional parking added for them specifically. So I don't know if that's going to be just on the side of the like Turnus side. There is a little bit of parking there, but we're just focused on the customers. I have nothing for like employees specifically.
So we can hold you to the language on your site plan that states it's a red bubble on the right side that states all vehicular parking and maneuvering shall occur entirely on site. No vehicle shall back onto public sidewalks, alleys, or public rights of way. Can we hold you
Yes,
to that?
yes. We made sure there's enough room for the existing car wash to not be affected at all.
Okay. And there will be some upgrades, maybe not upgrades, but some maintenance done to the 2 bays that are used for car washing.
Yeah, the ones we're removing, yeah, those will be removed completely and constructed with the 2 retail buildings.
No, I'm at the existing bays. Are you keeping 2 or?
Yeah, we're keeping 3.
So those will be brought up to date?
Yes, yes, they will be improved as well.
All right. There's also a the oil and water separator for any floor drains at site.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
It's supposed to be like before the water exits our property and onto like the sewer system, it separates the chemicals and oils that we use on the car wash before it exits our property.
And do you have a regular a vacuum truck that removes those chemicals and that oil on a
Yes.
regular? Okay.
Yes, they come extract it, yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the petitioner? Have, Mr. Hussein, have you made any attempts to get parking from a neighbor or work out some type of an agreement for, parking next door or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If not, we will, Mr. Hussein, we're going to move over and hear from our departments now. Inspector Ramos, you could please provide a report from BC.
Yes, good morning to this honorable body. I'm Zoning Inspector Kevin Ramos again, representing for BC. This applicant submitted for a special land use permit for approval of this car wash alterations to intensify this site and include additional retail tenant units. And so was personally the inspector that was working with the architect at time of site plan review to modify the site and ask questions about any kinds of adjustments that are going to take place. I think that there was a curb cut on the side street that's Turnus Street that was in question as to whether that was previously a curb cut that was for ingress egress onto the site for cars to access the car wash bays. So it was a question as to whether the applicant was going to modify the curb cuts along Michigan Ave. And as they stated, uh, you are required to have 20 feet of space in front of perpendicular parking spaces, and perpendicular parking spaces should have a standard requirement, 9 feet, I believe, by 20 feet dimensions. We were unable to accept the parking spaces that were provided that did not meet those strict requirements. And so it was a question about the flow of traffic here at this site. With any changes to the curb cuts along Michigan Ave, that is a state right of way and requires a state permit for review and approval from MDOT. And it was a question at time of site plan review whether or not the applicant may utilize the alley, which is an open alley at the south property line, whether or not there would be requirements from the city to bring that up to the current concrete standard. The Department of Public Works reviews such requirements. So there may have been different ways that the applicants can utilize this parcel to the most ability to provide parking and enough square footage or footage between parking spaces and access for driveways uh, to not need variances today. However, they do wish to open the site with the development as proposed and require variances, the parking variance to move forward to construction and building permit.
Okay. I'm assuming that you heard the applicant's testimony. I'm just trying to wrap my head around, whether or not the quote unquote, promises that he's made to the board. I just have there's no way to put any teeth into that. So I have a concern.
Yes, so there was a comment about the vehicles not navigating onto sidewalks across property lines. And so that was a discussion at the time of site plan review for the applicant to have approval that understanding was clear. Basically, without being able to provide the proper size of a parking space, that would not meet the requirements and would not count on this site plan. And this applicant requires those variances to not provide parking on this site due to this access off Michigan Ave and this navigation of the vehicles and all of that staying within the property lines as was stated on the site plan. For them to be able to do so, that they can't provide parking on this site.
Okay. Is there any off-street parking nearby? I mean, it's the neighborhood to the south.
Yes, the side street may be sufficient. Turnus Street for parking. I'm not sure if there's a proper curb cut there, if it is brought up to the current standard with the sidewalks being able to be used and such. I did not do an inspection of this site.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Inspector Ramos from the board? All right, thank you, Inspector. We appreciate you. Again, I don't think there's a report from Planning and Development for this.
They
Okay.
gave a recommendation to approve.
E&D did?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, if we got the applicant, Mr. Hussein, we're going to switch over to our approval criteria now. So the board has several questions that they're going to ask you. And we will start with Member Bowman with questions 1 and 2.
Okay. Hello. Okay, so is the requested variance or administrative adjustment consistent with the master plan and the spirit, purpose, and intent of this chapter?
That's meant for you, Mr. Musain. You're going to have to unmute yourself, please. And if you could answer.
Yes, I'm improving on an existing commercial property and not changing to a different type of use. So the retail spaces were already approved for the special land process.
Thank you. And what are the practical difficulties that prevent you from carrying out the strict letter of this chapter?
The property is already built and there isn't enough room for me to add all the required parking spaces without major changes.
Okay. Number 3 and 4, Member Parker.
Good morning. If we grant the variances, what will it do for your business and the site where it is being built?
It'll help me improve the property by adding the 2 retail spaces and keep the car wash existing and open.
Okay. Can you explain how your business will not cause any adverse impact on the other businesses around you?
It will remain open as a commercial property that's up to code with the city and not do anything against regulations and not have any impact on safety for the community.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 5 and 6, Member Osborne.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Hussein.
Good morning.
Muhassin, right?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Fine.
If there are any negative impacts, how will you deal with them during the construction of this project?
We'll keep the property well maintained and make sure it operates safely and responsibly.
All right, Mr. Muhassin. What is special about this site that is different from yours? Meaning, how will this requested variance compensate for some unusual aspect or on your site?
It's an older site with very limited space, and the layout doesn't leave much room for adding more parking.
Okay.
One more. I believe that we were speaking with BC earlier, and they said that they presented an option to you where you wouldn't have to request a variance. Can you speak to, again, just speak to that, help me understand your train of thought, why this is better
There,
than option.
there was a question about the Turnus side having an existing curb cut because the previous owner, I believe, had a illegal curb cut. So that was already shut, and they had me check to see if one existed, and I did. I forgot who I emailed, but they did check and said that that does not exist. So I wouldn't be able to use that curb cut on the Turnus side.
Okay. So you wouldn't, so they spoke about a curb cut, but you check to see if that existed currently and it does not exist. So
Correct.
therefore you can't use it because that curb cut that was suggested is no longer available.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Musain, you also mentioned something about a 2-foot difference. Is that in the width of a parking
Yes.
space or the length?
Both the width and the drive aisle.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Member Carr, can you please do 7 and 8?
When you purchased the property, what were your plans?
To keep the car wash business as well as add additional improvements.
And explain how the variance or administrative adjustment will not permit the establishment within a zoning district of any use which is prohibited. In other words, will you be conducting any other business on this site besides the car wash and whoever you rent the retail spaces to?
No, I will not.
Thank you.
Mr. Hussein, how do you think that your project will benefit the neighborhood?
It will add more shopping and two small businesses to the neighborhood.
And is this city-owned property?
No.
Okay. Any other questions for the petitioner?
I have one question.
Yeah, Ms. Carr?
What volume of use does the car wash now have?
It's very low volume. It's gone down over the past few years since we bought it, which is why we wanted to add the retail spaces. It's not getting as much traffic as it used to.
Thank you.
So how, I guess I'm sorry, Mr. Hussein, what is your plan to try and keep, whatever parking you have, whether it's 2 feet less or whatnot? What's your plan to keep the unapproved, I guess I'll call them, parking spaces that you have planned? How do you plan to keep those separate from the folks pulling in and pulling out and staging for the car wash? Is there going to be signage put up, or
Yeah, we plan on adding the stripes and the signs and naming each spot, as well as warning that it is not for the car wash customers to park in.
And these spaces are like 500 square feet, so they're like small, kind of almost like micro businesses, right?
Yeah, yes, very small.
Okay. And so Suite A is going to have a dedicated unapproved parking space that says this is for Suite A only, and there's going to be another sign for Suite B, and or two, I guess, two for each, and then somehow people are going to navigate around those or behind those to get to the car wash.
No, so the car wash, they'll turn to the right and they can exit without even going near the retail side. And on the retail side, behind the buildings will be the two parking spaces, and then in front will be the two additional parking spaces. So basically, it's cut in half. So we're hoping that they don't mix with each other.
Okay, so the car wash is going to most likely enter off Michigan, and then the retail is going to enter off the side street.
No, they're both going to enter off of Michigan.
Okay, just
But
opposite.
we have two curb cuts on
I got
Michigan.
you. Okay, understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Okay, we're going to go to public comment now, Mr. Hussein. If you can please pay attention, if there's any public comment that is negative against your project, you'll have an opportunity to come up and rebut those comments. All right, so we're going to switch over to public comment. If you're in the auditorium today and you'd like to make a public comment specific to 8035 Michigan Avenue, please come up to the podium. Seeing nobody, we will switch to virtual public comment. If you're out there on Zoom or online and you'd like to make a public comment specific to 8035 Michigan Avenue, please raise your hand. Public comment for 8035 Michigan Avenue, please raise your hand. See anybody, Director Brown?
No hands.
Okay, we will close. Oh, I'm sorry, Director Brown. I forgot to ask if there were any communications.
No communications.
Okay, so no communications, nobody here or there for public comment. So we'll close public comment, go into a board-only discussion, and a motion is always appreciated. Oh, this board's never quiet. Yes, Ms. Carr.
Listening to the comments from Inspector Ramos, I think I heard him say the 20-foot requirement requirement is a strict requirement for parking. And I appreciate that because we probably all experienced, those nicks and dings you get when parking is not um, wide enough for vehicles to be together. And in a small space like this, the question about where the staff will park versus the customers just makes me want to say I probably would not support this request.
Any other comments?
My concern is the reduction in spacing for the parking as well. That would be the same concern. I'm thinking handicap parking and sort of thing, and also like SUVs, if you will. Those are large vehicles, and you would need, adequate spacing for pulling in and pulling out, that sort of thing, and the general dings and, along the way. So I agree with Member Carr.
Member Osborne?
I'd like to make a motion. BZA case 2026-00024, location being 8035. I make a motion that this board grant the requested dimensional variance to expand an existing 2,499 square foot motor vehicle washing facility structure by 200 square feet to add 2 retail units and remove 2 existing bays. That variance that we're looking to grant being deficient parking. The petitioner has expressed a development that is compliant with the master plan being in a B4 general business district, business district zone. He's going to expand a business to include 2 additional vendors. His property has no additional parking, therefore he's requesting this variance. If we do grant the variance, this will allow him to keep the car wash and add a retail component. He plans on upholding city building codes and ordinances so that it will not cause any adverse impacts on the businesses around him. He is prepared to mitigate any negative impacts that have to do with construction. The layout of his site, the option that BC presented as far as the curb cut, the drive aisle access for the car wash does not allow for expanded parking, which is an issue that is different from others around him. The car wash being purchased, there was a intent for the developer to add additional improvements, so he is sticking to the reason why he purchased his property. The business that he requested today is strictly on record, and that's all that he's asking for out of this board. And the benefit to other businesses around him will be added business and retail options to the area.
Second.
Moved and properly second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Think that we were 4-1.
You need 5, the motion fails. BZA case 2026-00024, Ali Muhsin requesting dimensional variances to expand an existing motor vehicle washing facility. That case has been denied due to failure of the vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Our next case in Director.
BZA case 2026-00041. City Council District Number 6, the BZA petitioner is Lopez Property Investment LLC. The location is 6665 West Burner between Stecker and Cabot in an M4 intensive industrial district. Lopez Property Investments LLC requests dimensional variances to expand an existing 5,248 square foot light-duty vehicle service establishment into a 9,279 square foot unit of an adjacent 16,674 square foot building and convert the remaining space into retail, approved with conditions in BC case SLU 2025-00040. Decision date, June 16th, 2016. Effective date, June 30th, 2026. Within a M4 zone, intensive industrial district. We will now hear from Inspector Peerboy.
Thank you, Director. We're hearing this case today because the board shall be authorized to hear dimensional variance requests for matters that are beyond the scope of the building department's 10% administrative adjustments for a variance of minimum setbacks. The variances needed for this case are under section 5014-368, right-of-way screening and landscaping for 6677 West Vernon, and section 5012-131, retail service and commercial uses spacing over concentration of uses within 1,000 feet. There is a property located at 6707 Dix Highway, approximately 104 feet away, and it is a medium heavy-duty vehicle repair establishment. Here in this case, under section 54-131-6, permitted dimensional variances, and 54-121, the approval criteria. Here in this case, under the legal description attached, our attorney will assess ownership. The building department's approval effective June 30th, 2026 states, the request is to expand an existing 5,248 square foot light-duty vehicle service establishment into a 9,279 square foot unit of an adjacent 16,674 square foot building and convert the remaining space into retail. The current legal land use of 6677 West Vernon is minor auto repair and used tire sales under building permit 17764 issued in June of 1998. Current legal land use of 6665 West Vernon is used goods dealer, which is a flea market under building permit 92140 issued in January of 1995. The building is located within the Vernon Springwell Traditional Main Street Overlay District, thus all proposed constructions, exterior alterations, i.e. facade, signing, and awnings are subject to the TMSO design provisions of the ordinance. BC held a public hearing on May 13th, 2026. In addition to City of Detroit personnel, the participants of the hearing included their consultant, Mr. Mia, five support letters in addition to 2 residents speaking in support of the required use at the hearing. Preliminary site plans were approved on April 27th, 2026. There was a letter from Planning and Development on June 2nd, 2026, recommending approval of the requested use. BC made all of the required findings under section 53-281, and the requested use was approved with conditions provided the variances are given by the Board of Zoning Appeals. And again, those variances are for right-of-way screening and landscaping for 6677 West Vernon, and for over-concentration of a similar use, which is 104 feet away. And the subject property is located on West Vernon. You'll see this is the far west end of the property. And then surely you'll see the 6677 property, which is on the other side of this brown building. This is part of the entire building located on West Vernon, and it's a long frontage. This is the parking lot closest to the flea market, which is more to the east. This is the 6677 to the left on the screen that requires that landscaping. This is a view looking down the frontage of the subject property on West Vernon, looking to the east. I'm standing in front of 6677 West Vernon with the auto repair facility. This is the ingress and egress to the parking area closer to the flea market. This is a view looking at the parking area, looking to the south of the flea market. Entrance into that flea market area. View looking back towards the 6677 West Vernon, which is the auto repair facility. Long view looking down the building, looking to the east. This is the parking area, the far east side of that parking area, closer to the flea market. This is 6677 West Varna, the auto repair facility. This is a view looking towards that property that is 104 feet away, that brings the case to the board for over concentration. So there are two issues: the right-of-way screening for 6677 West Varna, and the fact that there's another similar use 104 feet away. And that completes the visuals, Mr. Chairman. They're on the call. Mr. Mia.
Sorry, is the petitioner on the line?
Good morning. Oh, okay.
Good morning. Are you representing Lopez Property Investment?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Great. If you could please state your name and address, and the inspector will swear you in.
My name is Amru Mia. My address is 30815 Billington Court, Beverly Hills, Michigan 48025. And I'm also joined with my business partner, Daniel Lopez, representing Mia and Associates. From Mia and Associates LLC, and we are representing Mr. Tony Lopez from Lopez Investment LLC.
Okay, thank you.
The only two that are going to speak today?
We are the owner. I'm sorry.
Are you the only two that are going to speak today?
The three, perhaps Mr. Lopez as well.
Would you all raise your right hands for me? Do you affirm the testimony before the board today is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. The first thing that we need to do is to establish standing that you have the legal ability to represent this property today, and we're going to do that with Attorney Savage.
Good morning. Again, Erica Savage on behalf of the Law Department. These questions are designed to assess your standing pursuant to Section 50-3-3 of the City of Detroit zoning ordinance. Any party who petitions the Board of Zoning Appeals must possess sufficient standing, which means you're either have a legal interest of the property, or you're authorized by the property owner to appear today on their behalf.
We are authorized by the owner to appear on his behalf.
Okay, I'm just
Who's
gonna
with us as well.
okay, I'm just gonna go through this because I have to place it on the record, but we'll get it all out.
Thank you.
Okay, so based on the Law Department search of the public records for the property referred to as 6665 West Verner, we obtained a warranty deed recorded on June 8th, 2022 at Library 60025, page 1274. And that deed reflects the owner of the property as Lopez Property Investment LLC. So can you state for the record how you are affiliated with Lopez Property LLC?
You're the owner of the company. Me or the owner?
Well, let's start with you and then we'll go to the owner.
As I said, my name is Amru Mia and Daniel Lopez from Mia and Associates. We have been retained by Lopez Property Investment LLC to represent him at this hearing.
Okay, so you're a consultant or you're
consultants?
Consultant, okay. And then for the owner, was the owner sworn in?
Yes, he was.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, my name is Jose Antonio Lopez.
I'm sorry, sir. What did you say your name was?
Jose Antonio Lopez.
Okay, Mr. Lopez. And what is your role with Lopez Property Investment LLC?
This is a family business. Me and my dad are the owners of the 6665 West Verner. We are owners of the company Lopez Properties Investment.
Okay, as it relates to the LLC, are you a managing partner of the
Yes.
LLC? Okay. Is there anybody else authorized throughout this process with the board I'm sorry, who's authorized to speak before the board on behalf of the property and the LLC?
Yes, Amaru, Mia, and Danny Lopez.
Just you three, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Chair, based on the statements placed on the record, I'm satisfied with standing to proceed.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Savage. All right, who's going to be the primary person speaking today?
I will.
Okay. Mr. Mew, can you please explain why you're coming before the Board of Zoning Appeals today?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, we just need to have an understanding of your project and why you're coming before the board today.
Okay, good.
What are you looking to do and why do you need, or what variances are you looking for?
Right. So, as I said, I'm Rumia and Daniel Lopez representing Lopez Investment. We are requesting approval of a spacing waiver needed to complete the expansion of this long-standing light-duty service facility located at 6677 West Verner, hoping to expand it to 6665 West Verner. Our project is fully consistent with the Mixed Town Center master plan. We're improving the facade, activating retail space, enhancing pedestrian orientation, and reinvesting in an existing legal use, directly strengthening the Verner/Primrose corridor. Now, we feel that this spacing issue is practical difficulty created by historic land use patterns. As you have heard, this is an industrial M4 district and has pretty much been used for heavy duty types of repairs and or flea markets. Mr. Lopez is trying to make him to expand his light duty repair shop into this building so that he can provide services for the customers. He's been at this location at 6677 West Vernon for approximately 35 years. It's obviously his business has grown. In fact, it's grown, and sometimes he's been doing some small repairs even on the outside of the building until he was able to acquire 6665 West Vernon. Then he had to take some time to save some additional funds, and now that he has saved up enough funds, we're hoping to expand into the 6665, thereby eliminating any outside repairs to cars. We don't believe that there'll be any adverse impacts. All operations of any tire sales and or rim sales will be provided indoors. And we have some site upgrades, not as much as BC had requested, but we do have some landscaping upgrades. We have some organized parking that we're planning and some facade improvements. Also enhance safety and appearance by adding additional lights, and any impacts are fully mitigated through BNSC or BC conditions in their grant. This property is configured into two adjacent buildings under one ownership, and it's unusual and not typical for other landlords. So the circumstances are not the result of our client, and this variance does not introduce any prohibited use. In other words, if we are so granted this spacing variance, we will only be doing that which was approved by BC through its grant. And so and I should also say that this property is not or has not been property city owned. And so there are no city sale conditions that apply. And for these reasons, we are respectfully requesting approval of a spacing requirement so this important corridor strengthening project can move forward.
Okay.
And with that, we can answer any questions that you may have.
So just looking at some of the information we have here. So you're operating in one building and you're looking to take over and start operating in a adjacent building?
Right, we're expecting to expand into the 6665 West Vernon. So we've been operating for several decades actually at 6677 West Vernon. So it is our hope that we can get approved this variance and then move into the 6665.
Okay.
Once again, we have already been approved conditionally by BC for the expansion. However, this I'm sorry.
What's gonna happen to the existing space?
We're just gonna, we're expanding, from the 6677 into the 6665. So we'll be occupying both spaces.
Okay, that's what I thought.
All right.
Okay, and I know you guys own a lot of property and stuff over in that general area. One of the things that we're looking at today is the potential of over concentration of uses. Are you familiar with the operation at 6707 Dix Highway?
We are familiar with it. I should indicate, while in fact it is a similar use as it's auto repairs or vehicle repairs, significantly different in as much as it's for heavy duty or heavier duty than what we're proposing. What we're proposing is light duty, which primarily is tires and rims. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is in my district, and you know, I'm familiar with the area. So they work on like semi trucks and delivery vehicles and stuff like that. They don't really work on cars.
That is correct. That's our understanding as well. That's what we've observed over the last decades. That's what they work on. Mostly do front end alignments and other heavy duty kinds of repairs to trucks. Right. So it's significantly different. While it may be similar in as much as it's vehicle repairs, it's significantly different in the impact. We believe is significantly different. These operations that we are proposing at our location are usually going to be in and out kinds of operations. Operations where you don't really have to exit the car to do the repairs, to put a wheel on it, put a new tire in, or even to plug a tire. Unlike the one at Dix, those are usually kinds of repairs that require the vehicle to stay at the site, maybe even outside of the controlled parking lot, and it has a lot heavier type of repairs than what we're proposing.
Understood. What about outdoor storage of vehicles? Are you going to be keeping vehicles outside overnight or anything like that?
No, our operation is planned to be just tires, where people can just do. I'm sorry, where they can. I'm sorry. Where they can just do repairs within a matter of hours or so. Okay. So we don't expect any vehicles to stay outside.
Gotcha. All right, thank you. Any other additional questions from the board for the applicant? Member Parker?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
So you mentioned landscape upgrades?
Yes, not as much as the BZA requested because we're sort of landlocked, but you've noticed that along the West Verner, we have some shrubs and flowers planted.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were planning to break concrete or, you know, or just use the existing, enhance on the existing.
We were hoping to use with the existing, you know, and maybe in the future, if we can add some additional shrubs and what have you, we're certainly agreeable to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Member Osmond?
Member Parker asked my question about the vehicles, but I also would like to know, Mr. Mia, how often do you run into a situation where a customer is requesting more than a plug in a tire or a new rim, or they're actually requesting this? Or is this something new that you're trying to get into a new?
No, that's actually a great question. We talked about that before the hearing started. What I had indicated to Mr. Lopez is that our work, or his work, is proposed to be just mostly tires and or rims. However, Mr. Lopez had reminded me that if he's taking some of these rims off and putting new rims on, and he notices the brakes are in bad shape, he almost is compelled to notify the owner that the brakes are bad and that they may have to change those brakes, because he doesn't want to have a car leave after he put tires on that doesn't have brakes. It can get into an accident. But that's the extent of the unexpected repairs we're anticipating. In other words, like if I was driving my pickup and the engine went out, I couldn't take it over there to Mr. Lopez's location for those kinds of repairs.
Have you had any conversations with Mr. Lopez about certified mechanics?
Mr. Lopez is here right now, so maybe he can answer that question.
What was the question?
I was asking if you all have had any conversation about certified mechanics working at the auto repair.
My brother, I believe he needs to renew his certified mechanic certification. But other than that, we don't do a heavy duty mechanic, like anything electrical, mechanical. We just do the simple tire repairs and sales of tires and installation.
Are we looking at selling any auto parts there, or would
No.
the individual have to go to another vendor to purchase the auto part and bring it to you?
No, we don't sell auto parts there. Usually the customers can bring their own parts if needed. But most of the repairs we do are tire repairs.
The only parts that they
It sells
can
the
bring
rims.
there is if somebody brings some special rims that they want mounted, have tires put on, but that's it. In other words, they won't be, bringing something in for the engine or the mufflers and other kinds of things, only related to tires and or rims.
Okay.
But it's
Is this a 7-day operation?
Yes, it is.
What are your hours?
Monday through Saturday is 9 to 7. And if it's slow, sometimes we'll close a little bit earlier. And Sunday is 10 to 4.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
I have
Ms.
one
Carr?
quick question. Is the work that you just described the work you've been doing the last 35 years?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board for the petitioner? Okay, we're gonna hear, if you stay in line, we're gonna hear from our departments now. And we'll come back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Inspector Ramos.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. Zoning Inspector Kevin Ramos here for BC, representing for BC. Good morning to this honorable body. This applicant submitted for special land use and was approved at time of site plan review. On the special land use grant states that for this expansion of the property, the construction of this irregular shaped building at 6677 West Verner, the expansion of this legal land use as a light duty vehicle service establishments requires the board's approval of a spacing variance for the greater square footage provided for light duty vehicle services establishments. On that property, we were viewing a site plan shared on the screen by, I believe, Director Ribron, that was showing an area that was out of scope. That is that irregular shaped property at 6677 West Verner. That is the area where additional landscaping and screening is required. And I'm not sure if it is unable to fit on the site. It's not practical due to navigation of vehicles here for the light duty vehicle service operations and used tire sales operations. However, that is an additional variance requirement due to being able to provide that for this honorable board. 2 variances required: a spacing variance and a landscaping variance, a dimensional variance there for this applicant to continue to construction and building permit for this development.
Inspector, can you elaborate just a little bit more on the screening? What's missing, or what area of the property we're talking about? Are we talking about the front that faces the road? Because there's
Yes, this is specifically right-of-way screening, and you can see on the right side of the building map along West Verner, the parking area does have landscaping provided, a 5-foot buffer from the property line, blocking the views of the vehicles of the parking area along West Verner. That is on the right side of the screen, so the east side of the building. However, on the west side, this intersection along Waterman Street and West Verner, this intersection is not in the scope of work of this building permit. However, due to this being a drive aisle, this also is required to be screened from the view of those streets along the property line. So being impractical to provide additional landscaping specifically there at that intersection corner, that is a variance request variance requirement here, as well as the spacing requirements due to that expansion of the light duty vehicle service used tires services.
So chances are pretty good that, 35 years ago when they started business, there was not a requiring for this screening, I would assume.
Yeah, it's an interesting case. I don't believe that it was a strict requirement. And I would say that for the rest of the building, that is 6667, the 6665, I'm sorry. The rest of the building being a flea market or a used goods dealer, a secondhand goods is a special land use, and this applicant is stepping down from that intensity to provide retail use on a lunchroom in this building. So sort of stepping down as a special land use in the rest of the building, but also expanding the light duty services and used tire sales services.
All right. Any additional questions for Inspector Ramos? Member Osborne?
Good morning, Inspector Ramos, Member Osborne.
Sure.
I'm assuming, but if you could help me understand, why is it that we need a over concentration spacing variance when these are two different, is it different types of vehicles that are being worked on? Does the code, the ordinance not go that deep into it? The one
Yes,
looks like
there's
he's
a
looking to do light duty and the existing is more of a
yes, correct.
commercial vehicles.
There's a strict requirement of spacing of 1,000 feet from these businesses, repair or service facilities. It doesn't matter that intensity. It is a requirement to be 1,000 feet. And as this being a case where we're looking at the property lines for 6677 and the expansion of the building and the services, this use requires a spacing variance, and we look at that strict requirement of what is within 1,000 feet. It can vary. Additional repair or service scale maybe medium duty or light duty. However, I guess those are also considered for the 1,000 feet calculation.
Okay, I think you captured what I was looking for. The intensity of the vehicle repair nor the scale of the vehicle repair. Those are not considerations when it comes to the over concentration. It's just we cannot have that many businesses that close.
Yes.
1,000 feet. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Inspector Ramos? Okay. Thank you, Inspector. I don't think we have anything from planning and development, correct? Okay. So, Mr. Mew, if you, oh, you're already on mute yourself. We're going to move to the approval criteria now. And just a note to the board, they did provide a written response, but we're going to hear from them anyway. Ms. Carr, if you could start with number 1 and 2, please. No, you just read the question. Let them go ahead and answer. Like I said, they provided.
Okay. All right. Is the requested variance or administrative adjustment consistent with the master plan and the spirit and purpose and intent of the chapter?
Okay, I can respond now.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, this spacing requirement is this spacing waiver rather is consistent with the Detroit Master Plan Mixed Town Center designation. This project strengthens the Verner/Springwells corridor through facade updates, retail activation, improved pedestrian orientation, and reinvestment in an existing legal use. These improvements support the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance. That's what we believe.
Thank you. And what are the practical difficulties that prevent you from carrying out the strict letter of this chapter?
Well, strict compliance is not feasible because the applicant is expanding to an existing legal expanding an existing legal light duty service use. In other words, currently he's already doing light duty repair. So it's not actually putting a new one in, we're just expanding. The nearby facility at 6707 Dix Highway is a medium heavy duty repair. And I think the board member who spoke before you had raised the issue if these are the same or not. This is certainly different. This is a different use category, and in fact, it's listed differently in the zoning ordinance. So the ordinance treats them as similar for spacing purposes. Creating a practical difficulty is not reflective of the actual operation.
Thank you.
Member Osborne, 3 and 4, please.
All right.
I'm sorry, was it a question there?
No, I'm getting ready to ask you. Give me a second. All right, Mr. Mia.
Yes.
Member Osborne. How does the requested variance or administrative adjustment eliminate a practical difficulty to your expansion?
Well, this variance allows the approved expansion to proceed, enabling consolidation of operations. You know, right now we're doing it at 6677. So if we were successful in getting this variance, that would help consolidate the operation. And activation of retail space, full implementation of BC's SLU approval. Without this waiver, however, the applicant cannot utilize adjacent building despite meeting all other zoning requirements. As we have heard earlier, this was used as a flea market or a secondhand store. So Mr. Lopez has decided to step down from that intense use and choose to expand his existing operation that is currently going on a 6677 North Furman. So we believe that this here, despite meeting all other zoning requirements, it will help eliminate any practical difficulty if we are so granted the approval.
All right. Mr. Mia, Mr. Lopez, can you explain how your business will not cause any adverse impact on the businesses around you?
I can, and then Mr. Lopez as well. This service operation occurs indoor, so we're not going to have any noise. So that eliminates any noise, any fumes, any outdoor activities. As you may have heard at the beginning, I had indicated that Mr. Lopez sometimes, infrequently, but sometimes nevertheless, did some work on the outside of the building. When he approached us to help with this request, it was his goal to stop doing any repairs on the outside, and all of them will be inside. So that would help enhance safety and visibility. Nobody wants to see outside tires being put on a car, what have you. So this project complies with the TMSO standards and BNSE conditions. If you looked at the BNSE conditions or the BC conditions, it's very clear that no repairs of any sort can occur outside. And so that would ensure that no adverse impact on surrounding businesses or residents.
All right.
So basically with this addition, we would like to comply with what the city's asking. No working outside and working inside.
All right, I'm being humorous. You didn't get any pushback from no longer having a flea market over there, the regular shop?
I still get a few here and there that they walk in and, hey, where's all the stuff at? Yeah, that's in the past. Everybody's gotten used to it already.
We did have a lot of questions at the beginning because it was sort of it started out as a successful flea market, and as time goes on, I think perhaps the economy has improved in somewhat in that area, so people are now more inclined to buy new items. So that flea market customers started to dwindle down. But there have been some people who said, "Hey, we're about a flea market." So unfortunately, that's not something that we wanted to pursue.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Member Parker, 5 and 6.
Morning, Mr. May, Mr. Lopez.
Good morning.
If there are any impacts, how will you deal with them?
Well, here's how we intend to do it. First of all, I should indicate that Mr. Lopez as a resident. He lives within 5 or 10 minutes of walking distance from this location. He also has a nephew or two who will be working there, who also lives in the neighborhood. So Mr. Lopez, will be there every day if he sees anything that's out of order, trash, or anybody attempted to do any repairs on the outside or some dust. He'll be sure to be the first one to clean it up. I should also just remind the board, as I'm sure you're fully aware, that if we are granted this, BC has numerous conditions where that if Mr. Lopez is violating those conditions, he could be cited by the inspector. But it also gives an opportunity that if a neighbor doesn't like what's going on, he or she can call the city and voice their complaints. And if those complaints are valid, then Mr. Lopez will be notified by the city to cease and desist that kind of operation.
Okay. What is special about your site that is different from the others around you?
Well, I think the special is that, first of all, it is a heavy industrial area.
It's a busy class intersection.
And it's a very tricky intersection as well. And we think that this is probably the best use given the location and the traffic patterns. And also, to be frank with you, the customer clientele that he's built up, which is not something that's shared with other people. Mr. Lopez is fortunate enough to own 6677 Werner, and now that he has purchased 6665 Werner, that makes it uniquely possible for him to, with the board's approval, to expand, unlike other people who may not have the luxury of owning a nearby or adjacent building.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Member Bowman, 7 and 8.
Okay, yes, please explain how the special circumstances and conditions that account for the need for this variance or administrative adjustment are not the result of your actions. And when you purchased the property, what were your plans?
Was it always to do this?
I think it was always to expand part of the shop. We didn't know at what extent, because if we felt like we overgrew the shop and we need a nice seating area for my customers. I want them to have a good experience.
And as I indicated earlier, one of the things that Mr. Lopez did when the opportunity to purchase the building came up, a little bit short of funds, so he saved up enough money to at least purchase it, but he found that he didn't have enough money to move forward with it. So over a couple of years, he saved up some additional money, and now he believes that he may be he's much better financial position to move forward and to develop this into an expanded business. Expanded from 6677 Burner Street.
Okay, and explain how the variance will not permit the establishment within a zoning district of any use which is prohibited within the district. Will you be conducting any business other than you have spoken of on record today?
No, right now, all we intend to do is light duty service at this location. Now, as you've heard from the report from, I think it was Ms. Ramos, there is some additional space that's going to be vacant in this building, and Mr. Lopez will be open to anybody who may be interested in leasing space and creating a business. However, we understand that if that is something that he may later pursue, we'll have to either come back to BC or BZA for a variance of any grant.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. How do you believe that your request before the BZA today will benefit other businesses around you?
Yeah, we definitely believe it. First of all, we believe that this is going to create some walkable traffic. We find that oftentimes people are not inclined to walk past vacant buildings for various reasons. But creating a business here, it will help bring more traffic into the area, whether it's pedestrian traffic and or vehicular traffic. So that helps revitalize the area, we believe. So that's what we believe it'll do. It'll help make it a better area, better business area, and it'll create or encourage other development along the area.
Okay, and this is not city-owned property, correct?
Unfortunately, it would have been better if it was city-owned. We'd like to make an investment in the city in that way as well, but no, you're right. This is not a city-owned property.
Okay, and just briefly about the site or the location itself. I mean, it's because we would always, you know, ask, hey, have you, you know, spoke to the neighborhood or, you know, anybody around you or anything like that, but there really aren't any neighbors. There's not any residential within stone's throw of your project, correct?
That is correct.
And so it's mainly just an industrial area. Did you happen to reach out or have any conversation with the Southwest Detroit Business Association about this?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Oh yes, they wrote me a letter. They're in full support. I'm also an actual bid board member. So our job is to make sure the business improvement is always being beautified and everything's clean.
Okay. So you're a member of the biz for
the bid, BID.
Yeah, for
yes.
Werner Springwells?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Any other questions for the petitioner from the board? Okay. All right. Seeing none, we're going to switch over now to public comment. If you could please pay attention to the public comment. If there's any concerns that we hear from the public, you're going to have an opportunity to come back up and address those.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any communications, Director O'Brien?
No communication.
Okay, we'll open up public comment in the auditorium specific to 6665 West Werner. Anybody in the auditorium? Seeing nobody, we'll switch to virtual participants. If you're out there online and you'd like to make a public comment on 6665 West Werner, please raise your hand. Public comment specific to 6665 West Werner, please raise your hand. See anybody, Director?
Greg Manigan.
Okay. Greg, if you could please unmute yourself. He is from the Southwest Detroit Business Association. He does real estate for them. So let's hear what Greg has to say. Are you still online, Greg?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, members of the BZA. My name is Greg Mangan with the Southwest Detroit Business Association, and I wanted to speak in favor of these variances in support of Mr. Lopez and his property and his shop. Mr. Lopez, as he stated, was a member of our West Werner Springwells Business Improvement District and has been for a long time and has been a great partner and a great business in the Southwest community, and we are excited about him investing in Southwest Detroit again and expanding his business that has been here for several decades. And we give our full-throated support in support of this variance. Thank you.
Okay. Were we supposed to swear him in? Hey, Greg, if you're still online, we need your name and address, and the inspector needs to swear you in for your testimony that you just gave.
Oh, okay.
No. Can you put your address on the record for me, please?
7752 West Werner Highway, Detroit, Michigan, 48209.
Do you confirm that your testimony you gave to the board was truthful?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Director O'Brien?
No.
Okay. Seeing nobody else, we'll close out public comment and go into a board-only discussion, and obviously a motion is always in order. Member Bowman?
Yeah, just to let you know, I support granting this variance. It looks like this petitioner has done what's necessary to make this business suitable for the community, and putting the proper renovations in place to make it non-intrusive. I know from experience that having light duty facilities like this available comes in handy, especially on Saturdays when a lot of other businesses are closed. And it's different enough from the neighboring establishments that I think the spacing requirement, we've dealt with this before, where it kind of is a broad brush, but it's not necessarily a duplication of the other business that it's near. It's just that there's a broad enough categorization that it tends to sweep in a lot of different automotive related businesses as being similar or competing. So for those, and I have a motion ready, but I suppose other people would want to have their comments aired first.
Yeah, I'll comment too. I'm also in support of granting these variances. The Lopez family has been in Southwest Detroit, you know, seems like forever, operating good businesses. They did receive 5 letters of support and 2 verbal letters, or 2 verbal support from the neighborhood. Obviously, we heard from the Southwest Detroit Business Association and the Verner Springwell Biz, who are in favor of the project. And really, I mean, they're 2 existing businesses. You know, so the concentration part, neither one's going away. If we don't grant this variance, they're still going to stay in business, and these 2 businesses are still going to be within 100 feet of each other. So, you know, the over concentration, I think, is almost a mute issue. When it comes to the screening, you know, they aren't meeting the screen, but I will tell you this, that they're good operators. They run a very clean facility. It's clean inside, it's clean outside. You know, they pick up the trash. They you know, they do a good job of maintaining their exterior finishes in their site. So I'd be in favor of granting these variances as well. Any other comments from the board? If not, a motion's in order. Member Bowman?
Okay, I'll move to approve the dimensional variances in case of BZA 2026-00041 at 6665 West Verner and Council District 6 for petitioner Lopez Property Investment LLC. This is to expand an existing 5,248 square foot light duty vehicle service establishment into a 9,279 square foot unit of adjacent 16,670 foot building and convert the remaining space into retail. Variances include right-of-way screening and landscaping for 6,677 West Verner and spacing within the 1,000 foot requirement, since a medium heavy duty vehicle repair establishment at 6707 Biggs Highway is only 104 feet away. Regarding approval criteria 50-4-121, the spacing waiver is consistent with the Detroit's master plan. For a mixed town center designation, the project strengthens the Verner Spring Mills corridor. And criteria 2, that the strict compliance is not feasible because the applicant is expanding an existing legal light duty vehicle service use in the nearby facility at 6707 Diggs Highway, is of a different category. And with criteria 3, that the variance allows the approved expansion to proceed, enabling consolidation of operations, activation of retail space, and full implementation of BC's SLU approval. Without the waiver, this applicant could not utilize the adjacent building despite meeting all of the other zoning requirements. And with criteria 4, that all service operations occur indoors, eliminating noise, fumes, or outdoor activity, and that there have been a number of site improvements. In regard to criteria 5, any minor impacts on the community or adjacent institutions are fully mitigated through BC's conditions that were made, that there be proper waste fluid storage, landscaping buffers, indoor operations in compliance with DPW traffic review. In criteria 6, that the property consists of 2 adjacent buildings under single ownership with long-standing legal uses, and the spacing rule does not account for expansions into adjacent structures already owned by the applicant. With the criteria 7, the spacing conflict is the result of historical land use patterns, not the applicant's actions. Both existing light duty use and nearby medium repair facilities predate the redevelopment effort. Number 8 criteria, the variance does not introduce any prohibited use. Light duty vehicle service is conditionally permitted in an M4 district and has already been approved by BC with the conditions that they come here. And number 9, that granting the waiver allows significant investment and benefits for the corridor, facade improvements, landscaping, organized parking, and new retail activation. A lesser relaxation would not resolve the issues, and that there is no conflict with the terms of city-owned land. It's not being city-owned. I move for approval.
Member Carr, I second.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
BZA case 2026-00041, Lopez Property Investment LLC, requesting dimensional variances to expand an existing 5,248 square foot light duty vehicle service establishment has been granted. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. And is our next case in?
The next case is requesting an adjournment. BZA case 2026-00037, City Council District Number 6. The BZA petitioner is Terrence Thomas. The owner is Rachel Gulateri. The location is 9100 John Cronk Street and 4000 Western Avenue between Stecker and Cabot in an intensive industrial district. Terrence Thomas requests to expand a non-conforming use of a junkyard, scrap metal, and iron processing into vacant land. I'll explain all that. Yeah. At 4000 Western by constructing a building to house a power unit for proposed baler that will eliminate outdoor processing at 9200 John Cronk and continue processing at 9100 John Cronk. The petitioner is requesting an email requesting an adjournment to work out things with BC. The write-up was not correct, and there are some conditions that the petitioner needs to discuss with BC. So this adjournment is requested, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Just out of respect, I don't know, Mr. Etheridge, if you want to make any comments or not. I know you've been sitting here for a couple hours.
Good morning. Thank you, Your Honorable Board. I'm George Etheridge with Activate Detroit, a consultant with Various Processing and Trading. I'm working in conjunction with Gibbles Webster, of which Mr. Terrence Thomas is an employee, as well as Ms. Rachel Guglieri, who is the project manager employed by Various Processing and Trading. The reason for the request for the adjournment is inadequate and inaccurate notice. As indicated by Director Ribron, we are working with BC for a correction. As was read into the record, Various Processing and Trading is not in fact seeking an expansion and or encroachment into vacant land on Western Street, which is residential. The property in question has been in operation for an excess of 75 years in what is M4 intensive industrial zoning classification as a result of the 2023 text amendment that joined scrap metal recycling with junkyard made us then a non-conforming use, and making any modification to such property a requirement to go before BC special land use, and then ultimately the Board of Zoning Appeals, given that it is a non-conforming use. On Western, we do own vacant land in which we are looking to create a green landscape buffer as opposed to expanding our industrial manufacturing operation. And as accurately stated in the reading into the record, we are looking to move our outdoor processing from 9,200 John Crunk to 9,100 John Crunk in order to better insulate our operations from the residential properties along Western Street. So with that, we are in fact requesting an adjournment so we can, one, correct the language and the notice that is going out to the residents along Western Street, which unfortunately is contrary to what we've been talking about in the past 2 years of our engagement with those residents, as well as the past 2 years of pursuing a consent agreement with the city of Detroit through the law department. And finally, we are looking to discuss a variance of pile height, given the processing materials. And again, our operations are seeking to modify our operations to decrease our hours of operation to again better insulate the residents and improve the quality of life for those in proximity to our location. So again, with that, we are requesting the adjournment, hopefully until Monday, the 17th, so proper notice can be sent out.
Okay, thank you.
We can't guarantee that date unless they get that report.
Most
So
certain.
that's why I did not put that date on the record.
Thank you.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you, Mr. Etheridge. I appreciate the overview of the project. To the board, can I get a motion for an adjournment of this
So
case?
moved.
Can I get a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So you're adjourned.
Thank you.
BZA case
Thanks, George.
2026-00037 at 9100 John Crunk and 4000 Western has been adjourned without date and without fee.
All right. A couple of board members would like to take a 10-minute break. So we'll recess for 10 minutes to the call of the chair. Yep. Okay, we will call back to order our meeting. And is the next case in, Director?
The next 4 cases were adjourned from last week. We left off at the point where the department was providing information on the cases that needed to be updated. That has been updated, has been sent to you. And we are picking up at the point where BC was giving their update. Okay, there they are. So we will, I think we'll hear from BC, ask the petitioner, do they have anything else? And then we can go into the approval criteria. Once again, these cases kind of being heard together, but we'll do the approval criteria separately. BZA case 2026-00036, 00037, 00036 at 4244 4th, 00037 at 4254 4th, 00038 at 4264th, and 00039 at 4254. Timothy Flintoff requests dimensional variances for a second primary structure in the garage terrace house. These cases were plan reviewed and the subject sites are within an R2 two-family residential district. So, I think I'll ask Mr. Ramos, does he have any updates on this? And then we'll hear from the petitioner, and then we can go into the approval criteria. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon to this honorable body. Yes, this is a by right use of building permit plan review case for single-family home developments, as well as a structure that is a separate accessory garage structure, which includes a dwelling on the second floor. With that specific permit for the dwelling above the accessory structure, that being on a corner lot, there are specific measurements that the department takes from the front lot line. Yard areas provided are very strict for new construction, and so there are restrictions for the number of principal structures you can provide in this zoning district. These are several variances that are required by the applicant for these structures to move forward to building permit.
But BC's recommended approval, correct? Oh, you're muted.
Their plan review, so it's no, it wasn't an SLU hearing.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. And it's by right, so we don't need anything from planning and development. So we'll move over to the approval criteria. I see Mr. Flintoff and Mr. Maddox both on the screen. Is there anybody else that's going to be speaking today about these cases other than you two?
No, just us.
Okay, do we need to swear them back in?
Yes, please. Would you both raise your right hands for me? Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Flintoff, we're gonna go through each one of these cases separately with the approval criteria, public comment, and then a vote from the board. We're gonna start off with 4244. And you know, for the board, obviously we seen this case last week, and we know that the reason that we're doing it this way is that it's you know, it's 4 properties that are directly next to each other that all you know, combine to make one project. So that's why we're doing it this way.
Yeah, we're perfectly fine with that approach. We appreciate the streamlined approach.
For each property, but all the properties together make a project. Okay, all right, we'll start off with Member Carr, if you could do questions 1 and 2. 4244 4th Street.
Answer these from that. Try to go listen.
And also to the board, the variances for each one of these are identical. No, we're gonna do each address separate, so we're gonna do this 4 times. Yeah. No problem.
Okay, well, morning. So this is for 4244 4th Street. Is the request, variance, or administrative adjustment consistent with the master plan and the spirit, purpose, and intent of the chapter?
Yes, it's 2-family residential, which is in line with the zoning district, and it's essentially a single-family home with a accessory dwelling unit in the back, which is consistent with the character of the neighborhood.
Thank you. And what are the practical difficulties that prevent you from carrying out the strict letter of this chapter? Explain on the deficiency why they cannot meet the letter, why you can't meet the letter of the ordinance.
Sure. Speaking simply about the primary home, we're matching contacts that's set by the historical the footprints and placements of the homes on 4th Street, which were continued by the Midtown Eco homes that were built about a decade ago. Everything is set relatively close to the sidewalk and relatively close together. Our footprint is very similar to those homes that were built. In regards to the other variances related to the accessory dwelling unit, because accessory dwelling units are not recognized in the zoning language, that residential structure is under the same setback requirements as a primary structure, which would essentially place it in the same location as the main house. So because we're putting it towards the back of the lot, because it's a carriage house, it requires variances to be in that location. So those are kind of the kind of historic urban fabric of the neighborhood that we're trying to match, and then also the not being able to place one building exactly where another building is creating the difficulties.
Thank you.
And number 3 and 4, Member Osborne.
Mr. Flintoff, Mr. Maddox, good morning.
Morning.
If we grant this variance, what will it do for your project?
So it will allow us to build the homes sort of matching the character and placement of the other homes already in the neighborhood. It would also allow us to offer up an additional dwelling unit over the garage, which increases the density of the neighborhood, which is sort of more in line with the kind of midtown character, the businesses that are in the kind of higher density of businesses that are in the area, and the higher demand for housing.
Can you explain how this construction will not negatively impact other residents around you?
Sure. So again, the use is strictly residential, which is in line with the existing character of the neighborhood. It's generally single family in nature, so it matches that kind of neighborhood texture on 4th Street. And the additional dwelling unit, which is sort of the bulk of the variance requests, again, just adds more residential density. So it's already a very busy neighborhood with a lot of activity going on. So we're not really increasing that as much as we're sort of matching the current pace of the neighborhood. So the project will not negatively impact anything that's already currently occurring.
Thank you.
And 5 and 6.
Good morning, sirs.
Morning.
If there are any impacts, how will you deal with them?
Sure. So there's four homes being built plus the accessory dwelling unit. So it's going to be a relatively long construction process versus just building one single family home. So the developer will be going through this process, for a bit of time. So they'll be available if one house is built and any problems arise, they'll still be on site because they're building the other 4 properties or the other 3 properties. So they're a very experienced developer in the city. They're very experienced with working with surrounding neighborhoods. And so they'll be available to field any concerns and to help get them corrected.
Okay. How and why is this requested variance or administrative adjustment required to compensate for some unusual aspect of the site or the proposed development that is not shared by landowners in general?
So, I mean, really, the building of the accessory dwelling unit is not something that is necessarily typical. It is something that exists a lot in the neighborhood and is part of kind of recent and upcoming projects. But because it's not captured in the zoning language, that creates a difficulty that, for instance, a single family home or somebody trying to build a 2-family as a single structure, like a duplex, wouldn't run into. But because we're creating a single family home with a detached accessory dwelling unit, that creates that unique situation.
And to add to that, the lot size has smaller footprint where we would be in small lot zoning typically, but we're not allowed to be in small lot zoning because of the two family. And even if we were to add a garage to this property, we would exceed the lot coverage in small lot and be requiring a variance for that. So because of the small footprint of the property itself, that creates additional issues with the zoning and variances are required.
Thank you.
Okay, please explain how the special circumstances and conditions that account for the need for variance or administrative adjustments is not the result of your actions. When you purchased the property, what were your plans?
Sure. So the plans were always to build residential development, taking the 4 lots or taking the 3 lots, splitting them into 4 single family homes plus the accessory dwelling units. The unique circumstances are again the natural or the existing character of the neighborhood in terms of how the existing homes are situated relative to property lines and their building footprints on their lots is not in line with the current zoning. And again, because accessory dwelling units are not captured in the language, it sort of creates automatic variances that are required for building that type of housing. So it's really just the mismatch of the existing neighborhood fabric and the specific zoning language that create the kind of hardships that we're facing.
Okay, explain how the variance or administrative adjustment will not permit the establishment within a zoning district of any use which is prohibited within the district. Will you be conducting any business other than what you have spoken of on the record with us today?
Sure. So there will be no other business conducted on site. They are strictly residential units. And then we won't be because of that, we won't be establishing anything that's prohibited in the district. Again, it's a residential district. We're matching that. Single family homes match character of the existing single family homes, and the accessory dwelling units are also in line with that. And I believe there's actually a structure that sets a precedent for accessory dwelling units on the next blocks south of us. So we're sort of just kind of following in line with the development that's already happened on the block.
Thank you.
Okay. How will what you're requesting today benefit the neighborhood?
Sure. Four new homeowners, plus the possibility of 4 additional rental units on site adds density, adds homeownership opportunities, and people who can support the thriving Midtown, business district, and sort of continue to strengthen that part of the neighborhood.
Okay. And is or was this city-owned property?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can't remember from the last hearing, but there's no affordability on this?
No,
No,
it'll be market rate for sale.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board for the petitioner? Oh, all right. Seeing none, then we're going to go into our public comment. If you folks can please pay attention during public comment. If there's anything negative that's brought up about your proposal, you'll have an opportunity to rebut those comments. Any communications, Director Brown?
There were several letters of support in the package.
Okay. All right. If there's anybody in the auditorium that would like to make a public comment specific to 42444 4th Street, please make yourself known. Seeing nobody, we'll switch to virtual public comment. If you're online and you'd like to make a public comment specific to 4244 4th Street, please raise your hand. Public comment specific to 4244 4th Street, please raise your hand. Anybody, Director?
Tyson Gersh.
Mr. Gersh, if you could please unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Need your name, address, and the inspector will swear you in.
My name is Tyson Gersh. My address is 252 Smith Street.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
Yes, to the best of my understanding of it, yes.
Okay, you have 2 minutes, Mr. Gersh.
Thank you. First and foremost, I just want to say, I love Josh. He's the best. He's my neighbor. He's like an incredibly thoughtful architect. And anything I'm saying is in no way, shape, or form a criticism of any of the projects that he's working on. Truly, I think he's one of the better ones in the city, and I'm always glad to see him before the BZA. I just wanted to point out, last week, it seems like these were adjourned because of a procedural deficiency around notice. And I'm not trying to give anybody a hard time here, but the notice requirement is, 15 days? I don't see how adding a variance on the fly that nobody was given notice of. I don't see how redoing it 1 week later could possibly meet the notice requirements. And I guess I'm just pointing this out on a less controversial project to sort of make the point that these procedural issues matter. This isn't me attacking a project. This is me asking the BZA to just correct its procedural issues, which are the source of so much conflict and pushback from the community. If you just do it right the first time, you probably wouldn't end up in circuit court so often. And I really think that the BZA board needs to be being more proactive to understand all of the litigation that is happening. There are so many more cases than I think you guys realize. And generally, the BZA's decisions never hold up under judicial scrutiny. I shouldn't say never, but it's pretty rare for the BZA to win. And the law department only seems to succeed when it can kill a case on a.
Thank you. Anybody else, Director?
Todd.
Todd, if you could please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we need your name and address. Inspector Purefoy will swear you in.
My name is Todd Sykes. I live at 4127 Commonwealth, Detroit.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Skies, you have 2 minutes.
I'm just calling in to give my support for the project. As a background in civil engineering and in real estate and interest in urban planning, I think that this project is beautiful one, but also kind of fits with the character of the neighborhood in terms of density. I really like the option of having ADUs on these because it offers that long-term flexibility for homeowners to, a lot of these returning adult children, aging parents, guests, home office, flex space, supplemental rental income. I think these are really great for improving the mixture of people that are able to be in the neighborhood. I also think it's great that we're seeing this really thoughtful infill development happening in neighborhoods to complete these neighborhoods. We really need infill development in Detroit. And so if this is what it takes, I think it's great. So those are kind of my 2 big points that I wanted to make and offer my support.
Right, gotcha. Okay. All right. Any additional questions for the petitioner?
That was it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Member Osborne.
I had a question before we go into board member discussion. I don't think we got this far into it, but just for curiosity's sake, Mr. Maddox and Mr. Flintoff, the 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 house that's being constructed on the land, will that be open for someone to purchase?
Yes, those are, so all four properties are for sale.
So
The goal
is the ADU in
it
that
would be
too?
Yeah, it would be sold with it. So the goal would be for four people to have the opportunity to become entrepreneurs and landlords of their own and create rental opportunities as part of their project. So, that's the reason for this marketing opportunity, is to give individual owners the opportunity to have some economic efforts for investing in the property and living there, but also to create the additional density that we think is appropriate.
So just so I'm clear, and I'm not, in no way am I saying I'm going to do this, but just with me, I've got a family and I have an adult child a child is going into adulthood. Sometimes I think he's an adult child, but that's another story.
He'd probably say the same about you, member.
Yeah, he would, right? I've got a child parent. So if I was to purchase one of these, then it would be up to I could put my son or daughter in the ADU and maybe not charge them rent, or I could have someone come in and I could charge them rent.
Right. If you want to have a grandparent age in place with you, or a relative or someone age in place with you, this would be a great opportunity for that as well. That someone has no mobility issues, but wants a little bit of independence on their own. It just, but it's close to home. It becomes kind of like an in-law suite. There's a lot of ways it could be used other than just being a second rental, but it becomes another opportunity for creating density some way or another.
Yeah,
Okay,
and to
thank
point
you.
out, I just want to state that it's part of the property, and then it only becomes a rental that's available on the market when it goes through the city rental registration and inspection process, and kind of does it above board. So that is up to the purview of the homeowner. Otherwise, it's just an additional unit that they have sort of at their disposal on their property.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Okay. Any other questions from the board for the petitioner? What we're going to do with this, because we have 4 cases, correct? And all 4 of the cases have the exact same variances: front yard setback, one structure, or more than one structure on a lot, side yard setback, excessive lot coverage, and lot width. So we have the same variances for all 4. So we've already went through the approval criteria, and the approval criteria is going to be the same for all 4. So what we're going to do is give you one more opportunity to ask any questions of the petitioner, and then each individual case will do a public comment and a vote. But we're not going to go through the approval criteria 4 times. So are there any other questions about the project from the board to the petition? Okay, hearing none, then we will open public comment for 4244.
4254 0037.
Okay.
Mr. Gersh.
Hold on, I gotta flip my page here. 00. Ready? We're doing 4254. Okay, I'm back.
4254 00037.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, if you'd like to make, if you're in the auditorium today and you'd like to make public comment on 42544 4th Street, please make yourself known. Seeing nobody, will switch to virtual participants. If you're online today and you'd like to make a comment specific to 42544 4th Street, please raise your hand. 42544 4th Street, please raise your hand. See anybody, Director?
Tyson Gersh.
Tyson Gersh, if you could please unmute yourself. We need your name and address, and Inspector Purefour will swear you in.
Tyson Gersh, 252 Smith Street.
Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Again, I believe I'm supportive of this project, but just as like a record matter, I don't even know what I'm commenting on. If I zoned out for like 2 seconds during the presentation, how am I supposed to make reference to the proposal? Other municipalities publish their records online. I can view the city of Livonia's entire record for every zoning variance request going back several years. And I'm not even a taxpayer in Livonia. Why is it that I, as a taxpayer in the city of Detroit, am not given access to the information freely and easily here? I mean, in Livonia, I can view the transcripts of every hearing, but I, right now, have no idea what I'm actually commenting on beyond what I remember during the presentation. Part of due process is notice and an opportunity to be heard, and being able to participate meaningfully means you have to have access to the information in advance, time to digest it, and the opportunity to make an informed comment. It's kind of impossible the way that the BZA is structured to for anybody to make an informed comment. The way that we structure this is just deeply broken. I should be able to look up the proposal like online right on the BZA site and review the thing and speak to what's actually being proposed. I can't see that anywhere in writing. There's very vague language on the docket. It's like a paragraph. It's just insufficient. And I think that a lot of this has been structured by the law department to disallow or disable people from being able to challenge things. But here I am wanting to.
Thank you, Mr. Gersh. Anybody else, Director Rebron?
That's it.
Okay. So we will move into a board-only discussion specific to 4254 4th Street.
Let's go back and do 4244 first, 00036.
Gotcha. All right, so we'll do, did we already did public comment on that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I was confused earlier. All right, so we're looking at 4244 4th Street first. Can any board only discussion or a motion? Member Osborne.
With the additional information being covered, I'm in favor of the project.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in favor of the project also. I think that first off, I think that we have already approved a similar project around the corner. All the setbacks, kind of almost being zero setbacks, that's pretty common in that neighborhood. Most of the dwelling units come almost right up to the sidewalk, or there might be literally a small amount of setback, but for the most part they're there. I like the fact that they have the accessory dwelling units in the back, as the petitioner stated, whether they're going to use that for family or guests, or if they've got a little entrepreneurial vigor in their soul, they could rent that out for some additional income. I also like the fact that they've provided parking for each location, so I'd be in favor of this also. Anybody else?
Yeah, I also support this plan and I am very familiar with that community because I lived within a block of, less within a block of the current site, and which is also within a block of the one that one of the ones that we had previously discussed. And it is normal for there to be a small setback in that area. There's not big sweeping lawns. There's small little patches of grass in front of the houses, whether they be Victorian style. We got we have some, just like a small apartment building like a block further down that's goes right up to the sidewalk. So the classical or legacy structures that remain have a similar footprint. So it's not out of character in that way. Blends in fairly well, and the lot sizes are such that if you did have the big sweeping lawns, there wouldn't be much room for much else. So that works. It seems like our some of the plans as far as what's being standardized for the area doesn't really consider the uniqueness of having a carriage house and the value of that as an asset in the overall property, where a person may have an auxiliary dwelling, or it could be a rental as well, attached to the primary residence. And that, again, is something that has existed in a number of classical structures in the region. So it's not out of character either. It's just these buildings have a more modern look, and they're going to be brand new buildings. So for all those reasons, I approve this.
Okay. Member Carr?
I too would support this request, as the applicant has mentioned they met all of the approval criteria as listed out in section 50-4121. And so I think it would be a great addition to the city. I like the way that accessory dwelling unit has been added to the property, I guess replacing the old carriage house that was available during its day. And I do think it would be a good addition to the neighborhood and to the city as a whole. I do think there should be considerations for the variances that we are approving be taken up whenever the city reviews necessary changes to the code, so that they can be included in that code.
Okay. Any other comments? And a motion's always in order. Member Osborne.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
BZA case 2026-00036, location being 4244 4th Street. I make a motion that we grant dimensional variances for the second primary structure in the garage and carriage house. The variances being a deficient front setback, more than one principal structure on a lot zoned R2, two-family residential, the deficient side setback for a rear accessory dwelling unit, the excessive lot coverage, the deficient lot width, and the deficient lot area. The petitioner has shown that this project does comply with the master plan being built in a residential building a residential two-family, single-family home. The two-family being the accessory dwelling unit. The other family would be in the single-family home, detached. The deficiency where they cannot meet the letter of the ordinance has been explained by the accessory dwelling unit not being recognized in the zoning language. If we grant this variance, it will allow the project to offer similar homes in the neighborhood, with the development being an additional unit. Their development will not adversely affect or impact other homes around, because it matches the density in the surrounding neighborhood. They have expressed forethought through experience in developing similar projects, so I believe they'll be able to mitigate any impacts. The accessory dwelling units are not captured in this R2 zoning language. Therefore, the smaller footprint of the lot requires this variance that they are requesting from us. This plan that they have come to us with is consistent with the reason why they purchased this property. They will be conducting no other business today other than what they brought, being the construction of the single family home with the accessory dwelling unit. And there's nothing more that we could have done for them with our decision. This development will bring new homeowners, new rental units, new residents to a neighborhood and a business district. So I make a motion that we approve the variances.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
BZA case 2026-00036, Timothy Flintoff requesting dimensional variances for a second primary structure has been granted. We will now move to BZA case 2026-00037 at 4254 4th.
Okay, so now we need a similar motion, well, hopefully. A similar motion for 4254 4th Street. We've already done public comment on that, so it's board only discussion and a motion. Member Osborne.
I make a motion. BZA case 2026-00037, location being 4254 4th Street. I move that we grant dimensional variances for a second primary structure in the garage or carriage house. The variances being deficient front setback, more than one principal structure on a lot, zone R2, two-family residential, deficient side setback for rear accessory dwelling unit, excessive lot coverage, deficient lot width, deficient lot area. The petitioner has shown that this project is in compliance with the master plan, being residential, 2 families, 1 family in the accessory dwelling unit, the other family in a single family house. The accessory dwelling units are not recognized in the zoning language in R2. Therefore, they are requesting that we grant this variance. The variance will allow them to move forward and offer similar homes as are in the existing neighborhood, with a single family home and a carriage house being in back. The residential units match the density in the surrounding neighborhood, therefore will not adversely impact other homes around this project. The impact, if there are impacts, the petitioner has expressed forethought with previous experience in mitigating those impacts. The accessory dwelling units are not captured in R2 again, the language. Therefore, a smaller footprint in their lot requires the variance requested. These are the plans that were presented are the plans that the petitioner presented today. They do not vary away from the plans that they want to complete on this project. The project does encompass single family homes with accessory dwelling units, which is the business that they've spoken of today. The neighborhood will be positively impacted by new homeowners, new rental units, and new residents for the neighborhood and adjacent business district. So I make a motion that we approve the variances for 4254 4th Street.
Member Carr, second.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
BZA case 2026-00037, Timothy Flintoff requesting dimensional variances for a second primary structure in the garage carriage house has been granted. We will now move to BZA case 2026-00038, public comment, board discussion, and then a vote.
Okay, if you're not, any communications on 4260 4th Street?
The communications were all the same for the letters representing all 4 of these cases.
Okay, thank you. All right, if you're in the auditorium today and you want to make public comment on 4260 4th Street, please make yourself known. Seeing nobody, we will move to virtual public comment. If you're online and you want to make a public comment for 4260 4th Street, please raise your hand. public comment specific to 42604 4th Street, please raise your hand. Anybody, Director?
Tyson Gersh.
Tyson Gersh, if you could please unmute yourself, need your name, address, Inspector Purifoy will swear you in, and you'll have 2 minutes.
Tyson Gersh, 252 Smith Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48202.
Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay, you have 2 minutes, Mr. Gersh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess I just wanted to continue my prior comment of, here's a project that I probably support, but it's hard to tell because I can't review anything. I'm sitting here making public comment without any information to review. Maybe if I had focused on every second of the initial presentation and I remembered every single detail, maybe, but I don't think that you can reasonably expect that capacity from every citizen seeking to make public comment. The design of these hearings is supposed to be for the public to provide meaningful input on what's being requested, and it's impossible to do that the way that the Detroit BZA structures things. The information proposed, the details, the stuff just needs to be available. And I've been mentioning this previously, but I haven't seen the board take any action on it. The board recently voted to amend its rules in a way that does not benefit the public or the citizens whatsoever. And I entirely disagree with that. As far as I'm aware, they haven't been published yet, nor could they legally be adopted because there's too many substantive changes. But, the members of this board should have taken that opportunity to say, hey, we're getting these complaints about people not being equipped with the information to respond. City of Livonia changed its rules to mandate electronic web-based records so that the public could just access the record at any given moment. To meet the Michigan Aggrieved Party standard.
Okay. Anybody else, Director?
That's it.
Okay, we'll close out public comment and go into board member only discussion, and a motion is always in order. Member Osmond.
All right, hopefully I get this a little more streamlined. BZA case 2026-00037. Location being
38.
I'm sorry, 38. Oh yeah, that's right. 38. Location being 4260 4th Street. Make a motion that this board grant the dimensional variances for a second primary structure in the garage or carriage house. The variances being deficient front setback, more than one principal structure on a lot, zone R2, 2-family residential, deficient side setback for rear accessory dwelling unit, excessive lot coverage, deficient lot width, and deficient lot area. The petitioner has indicated that this project is consistent with the master plan being residential, single-family unit and accessory dwelling unit. The petitioner has explained that the deficiency is the accessory dwelling units are not recognized in R2 zoning ordinance, thus causing said deficiency. If we grant the variance, this will allow the project to offer similar homes in a development with additional unit being the accessory dwelling unit. The development will not cause any adverse impacts due to the residential units matching the density in the surrounding neighborhood. If there are any impacts, the developer has expressed forethought with previous experience in mitigating these impacts and speaking with the community around them. This requested variance and administrative adjustment is required to compensate for the unusual aspect of the accessory dwelling unit, which is not captured in the R2 zoning language. The smaller footprint of the lot requires a variance that is being requested. They purchased the property Their initial plans were to develop a single-family home with an accessory dwelling unit, which is consistent with what was requested today. They will not be conducting any other business. This project does encompass a single-family home with the accessory dwelling unit. And this development will bring new homeowners, new rental opportunities, and new residents to the neighborhood and surrounding business district.
Okay, so we have a motion. Can I get a second?
Board Member Parker, second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
BZA case 2026-00038. Timothy Flintoff requesting dimensional variances for a second primary structure in the garage carriage house has been granted. And the last one, BZA case 2026-00039. At 4254th Street, we will have public comment, board discussion, and then a vote.
Okay. Any, well, we already went over communications. Anybody in the auditorium that would like to make public comment on 42504 Street, please make yourself known. Seeing nobody, we'll switch to virtual public comment. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to make a public comment specific to 42504 Street, please raise your hand. Public comment, 42504 Street, please raise your hand. Anybody, Director Brown?
Tyson Gersh.
Mr. Gersh, if you could please unmute yourself. We need your name, address. Inspector Purifer will swear you in. You'll have 2 minutes. Mr. Gersh.
My name is Tyson Gersh. My address is 252 Smith Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48202.
Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you. You know, and I guess I'm just continuing. So yesterday, the BZA docket was emailed out, and I'm reading the current docket, and the case number that you're currently discussing does not appear on the docket at all. I mean, I've read it 4 times in the past 2 minutes, and yeah, this case is not even on the docket. So, you know, really just, you guys gotta like take this stuff seriously. You know, that's kind of the ongoing issue with the BZA, is that it doesn't take the procedural issues seriously. I mean, this was emailed out yesterday. This is the docket today's July 27th. And what you are talking about right now is what you are making a decision on right now is not even docketed. Like, how is the public supposed to have any clue what's being discussed? You know, it's not supposed to be if you attended last week's hearing and you just remember, like, maybe you know, like, public notice requirements matter. And I'm sure this was just like an oversight. Again, this doesn't appear to be a controversial project. Like, from everything I heard, it sounds like I support it, but you're not notifying people. You're not telling people what you're doing, and you're required to. And you guys got to take that seriously. And the board, on its own initiative, needs to take this seriously and push for change. There's no excuse for this stuff. Like, I get it, stuff happens, but it keeps happening because nobody is addressing it. You have to notify the public, and you have to equip the public with the ability.
Thank you, Mr. Gersh. Anybody else, Director?
That's it.
Okay. Excuse me. We'll close out public comment, go into a board-only discussion. Motion is in order. Osborne, you going after the last one?
All right, BZA case 2026-00039. Location being 42504 Street. Make a motion that this board grant dimensional variances for a second primary structure in the garage/carriage house. The variances being deficient front setback, more than one principal structure on a lot zoned R2, 2-family residential, deficient side setbacks for a rear accessory dwelling unit, excessive lot coverage, deficient lot width, and deficient lot area. The petitioner has presented to this board that this project is consistent with the master plan, being a single-family home and an accessory dwelling unit built in the specific zoned area. The petitioner has explained that the deficiency is the accessory dwelling unit is not recognized in the R2 zoning ordinance, thus causing said deficiency. If we grant the variance, it will allow the project to offer similar homes in the development area with an additional unit in the neighborhood. This project will not cause an adverse impact. The residential units match density in the surrounding neighborhood. And if there are any impacts that are caused, then the petitioner has expressed through experience of development that they will have forethought in mitigating the issues and communicating with the surrounding community. The requested variance will compensate for the accessory dwelling unit, that language that is not captured in R2 zoning, and the smaller footprint of the lot, which requires a variance for the home, single-family home, and the accessory dwelling unit. When they purchased the property, their plans were to develop single-family housing with an accessory dwelling unit, so that's consistent with the presentation today. They will not be conducting any other business spoken of other than what's on record. This project will bring a new home and new rental units to the existing neighborhood, new residents to the neighborhood and business district. So I make a motion that we grant the variances.
Member
So
Carr,
we got a
second.
motion, can get a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
BZA case 2026-00039, Timothy Flintoff, requesting dimensional variances for a second primary structure in the garage carriage house has been granted. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so we will move in now to general public comment. If you're in the auditorium today and you want to make a general public comment, please make yourself known. Seeing nobody, we will switch to our virtual participants. If you're online and you'd like to make a general public comment, please raise your hand. We have opened up general public comment. If you're online, please raise your hand. See anybody, Director?
Tyson Gersh.
Tyson Gersh, you could please unmute yourself and you will have 2 minutes for public comment. Tyson Gersh.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So, I mean, like I'm on the BZA website right now. The last thing posted was the June 22nd docket. The only reason I even have the July 27th docket is because it was emailed out yesterday from the City of Detroit mass email. And the docket that you're like reading on the screen in front of you is not the docket that was publicly sent out. And I just like, where are people supposed to get this information? You know, like it's so deeply broken. And again, today's stuff seemed pretty not controversial, which is why it's a good opportunity to bring this up, right? Because like this isn't about me objecting to the stuff that's being presented. It's just the basic procedural stuff. Why is it impossible for the public to be informed and access information with the BZA? Like that's just not how any of this is supposed to work. And the board has got to do something about it. I'm telling you right now, I can email you the docket that I'm looking at right now. Like you just voted on stuff that was not publicly noticed at all. Like how, like there has to be someone's got to address this. Like it's just got to be dealt with. Why is the last set of meeting minutes posted from March 9th? You know, like, and the last docket is over a month old on the BZA website. Like this stuff should just all be in one place. It should be clear as day. And you guys would just remove like the majority of the headaches you get from people just being confused about what's going on. You got to make this stuff available online. You know, where are people supposed to find stuff? And I guess, I don't know, like it's just so simple and so obvious. I don't understand why it keeps happening, and I don't understand why the board isn't addressing it. When will the board address this?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, Director Brown?
That's it.
Okay, we'll close out public comment. Any new business?
No new business.
Okay, our next hearing will be August 10th, 2026. Any advisements?
Yes. The BZA docket is sent out each Tuesday. That goes out to the entire community. Within the last week, we started sending out the board book also. That is something additionally that we have done. This current case was taken under advisement last week for us to get the updated information from BC. We received that information on Thursday. We updated the docket on Thursday and sent it out. You all see in the board book that you received that you had the updated docket with all of these cases and the updated information from BC. And we are not Livonia. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Member Osborne.
Question for our executive director. Who is responsible for updating our web page?
It
From the
used to
council
be,
saying
it
that-
used to be us, but they have taken that away from us, IT, and it now takes 2 weeks to get things posted.
Thank you.
Okay. Any old business, Director?
No old business.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.